Welcome, everybody, to the 26th annual fruit tree program in Phoenix that I started 26 years ago. I
Good
am
math.
Greg Peterson, and I'm here with Miss Janis. Hello, Janis.
Hi, Greg. Good to see you this morning.
Right back at you. And I think you've been at this with me for 11, maybe 12 years.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just talking
I
about
haven't
having
counted.
fun, and we started the yeah, we started the event laughing, and I said, "Oh my gosh, it's always great fun to have laughter and fun going on." One of the things, if you come to our fruit tree lot, that's one of the things that is the rules on the lot. We
It
have
really is.
we have three rules. Rule number one is be safe. Rule number two is have fun. And what's rule number three, Miss Janice?
I was going for number four. I thought you were going to do number three. Have fun. Be safe.
Don't steal Janice's purple
No,
pen.
that's number four.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I'm not in lot mode. I am in presentation mode. So I'll
Yeah,
come up with that later. But basically, if you're on our lot, we're going to treat you like family. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun. Um, just relax and be ready to learn is our motto for in so many places.
yeah.
You know, today's event, this launch party, I was talking to Greg about it just right before we started recording, and telling our audience right now that we have put in hours and hours of preparation getting ready for today. We get so excited about today that some of our other things just kind of get put off to the side. Lot pickup, seat up, all of it's just kind of an ancillary on the side so we can get ready for today. It's exciting to to do all the work behind it and get ready and start this today and go, we're ready. We've got everything. We've got all the
Yeah.
education. We've got all the opportunities for people to take advantage of bonuses, et cetera. Um, all because it's all centered around making a difference in the local community,
Mhm.
in so many ways. So that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. So this
Quick sound
program,
check. Sorry, quick sound. Does my sound
you
good for
sound great.
everybody?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
you sound great. So this started 26 years ago. Real quickly, if you haven't heard the story, I discovered that you can go into most nurseries and every big box store, which is still true today, and they will sell you a fruit tree that'll never make fruit. And that made me mad. So that was the first thing that got me going on this. The second thing that got me going was I wanted to plant 500 fruit trees in Phoenix. And that was my goal in 1999. And so, as far as I can tell, over the past 26 years, we've exceeded that goal significantly. I think I have count somewhere around 80,000 fruit trees that have been sold in the
Yeah.
Phoenix area. So, and first and foremost, we're all about education. So every fall we do this series of classes, which started last Monday
It
with
started
our
Monday this week.
yeah, with our what you need to know before you buy your fruit trees. And if you have that link that you can drop in the chat for that class, Janice, that would be great. So that if you missed it, there's a recording, and if you missed it, you can sign up, and it'll send you out the recording.
It's really easy. If you go to urbanfarm.org/events, that is our calendar. And Monday's event, if you sign up for that event, it'll give you directly to the replay.
Perfect. Excellente. All right, we have a slide here, don't we, Miss Janice?
Here we do. All right, because we've always got slides.
No, 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 that's not true. Janice always has slides.
Well, this is the 2025 launch party, and this is
Um,
the kickoff to our education. Am I not sharing?
no, you're
Oh,
good. Sorry.
okay.
Brain fart on my part. I
That's
thought it was the
okay.
2026, but it's a 2025 going into year 2026.
Yes. It is the 26th year, but we start in 25, end in 26 with our January pickup. Let's talk about what the fruit tree program is, because the Urban Farm Fruit Tree Program is not just the trees, it's not just the education, it's a whole program. We started with this, Greg started this years ago with the 3 parts. First, you do the learning, then you do some ordering, and then you do the pickup. And we've kind of expanded on that because we want to make sure that you're prepared and that you have more than just showing up to the tree lot getting your trees. But learning is so crucial and so important to making sure that you have success, that from the beginning to the end has learning. So step 1, you learn. We have our program today with multiple presentations. We've also got weekly classes in September and kind of going into October a little bit that offer education. We have our fruit tree root camp. We'll talk more about that later. Lots of learning opportunities to help you gain skills. And even if you've been doing this for a few years, going back through our education program can help reinforce what you know and maybe find some weak spots. Then when you're ready, you can order your trees. We do have a tree program online where you can order at urbanfarm.org/store. And we've got specials. We'll go through that, more information later. Then you're going to pick up your trees. We have 2 pickup seasons for trees. We've got our fall pickup, which is in the end of September, beginning of October this year, and our winter pickup, which is January. So you get your citrus in the fall, you get your deciduous in the winter. Then you move into planting. When you pick up your trees, we want to make sure you plant them the best way to give you the right start. And that's part of our learning. There still can go back and get access to that education. And then after you've planted, we're not done. We want you to be able to care for your trees going into the future. So that's the aftercare. That's how our fruit tree program works.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Thank you for that.
And thank you for those who are commenting on Greg's question. Greg, your turn.
All right, so today's presentations, and I think Matt is in the room. I think I saw that Matt was here from our presentation. So we're going to see
Yay.
Matt's before and after of his tour of his yard at 9:35. And then we have Tom Spellman giving us 2 lectures, one on successive ripening and backyard orchard culture, which is what we talk a lot about. And then the second lecture, the second share from him is sun protection for your trees.
No. He gives us
No,
later on, he gives us extreme tree care. Sun
he
protection for
does.
trees is our new one from Charles.
From Charles at Ivy Organics. Thank you for the clarity on
Yes,
that. Perfect.
yeah.
And then we're doing a replay from last year because it was such a great one from Suzan Poizner. She wrote the book. Oh, you can't see it.
And put
I'll
it in front of you.
put it in front of me.
There you go.
Yeah, Grow Your Own Fruit Trees Fast. This is a cool little book. She gave a really cool lecture last year on foliar feeding, and I wanted to bring it back and share it with you again because it'll make you laugh and it's a lot of fun. Then Tom's back at 11:20 with extreme tree care, and then we're going to hear from Shota from Tank's Green Stuff down in Tucson, Arizona at 11:45. Soil, that's where it starts.
And I love that we're ending our presentations with soil. That's where it starts.
Right.
Now, this isn't our only stuff. We've got a lot of other stuff interspersed in the middle, but those are our key presentations. We wanted to make sure you knew what we have when. Don't leave, because in the middle of all of this, we've got our drawings.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of drawings, we've got 26 different drawings today in honor of our 26th year. You can go to urbanfarm.org/2025 kickoff draw, and that will take you straight into a registration. I had to throw it up really quick, so you're not going to get any page on that, but it is please one person, please, per email, one drawing per person. And this is only for the live event. So if you're watching this in replay, sorry, you missed your chance. Come join us next year. But we will be drawing multiple times today.
Cool.
All right. You know what, Greg? I wanted to talk about something here, and I'm going to come back to us for a moment because before we go into the catalogs, we did not talk about this, and I'm going to move my slides up really quick
Hold on, before you go there, urbanfarm.org/.
for
The
the
drawing.
drawing. It is 2025 kick-off draw.
I'm just checking. I'm checking it.
You're putting it in there.
It is.
Is it working?
The link is not working, Miss Janis.
No.
Go back to the slide, would you? I want to make sure I got it right.
Well, I was in a rush. Anybody else having issues with this?
Is it case sensitive? It shouldn't be.
Okay, there I go. I had a rush. I will go fix this.
All right.
I will go fix this. But Greg, while we're working on that, you can talk about this.
Ah, very good. All right, cool. So there's several things I actually want to talk about as we're getting to this. First of all, we're not going to take live questions today. However, there is a Q&A button down in the bottom right of your screen, and you can drop questions in there for us. And while the videos are playing in amongst, when we're not live, we will be answering your questions. So please, any questions that you have, you can drop them in there. And we won't be doing them live, but you should get a response to those. Yeah, you can drop things in the chat box, but the chat box is a little bit harder to follow because it scrolls by so quick. So anyways, kickoff specials. So each year we do some specials that start when our shopping cart opens, and the shopping cart opens generally around June 1st. And I see the link is now working. Yes, Janis?
Yep, it works.
Can you drop that in the chat area?
I can.
All right, cool. So we do these kickoff specials. They start on June 1st when we open our shopping cart, and they expire at the end of the day today. And so if you spend $150 on trees, so all of these are spends on fruit trees or plants. So if you spend $150 on trees, you get a single tree amendment kit for planting your trees. If you spend $250, you get 2 free single tree starter kits. If you spend $350, you get a free bag of BioFlora crumbles. That's got a $70 value.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you spend over $1,000 on fruit trees, we do a garden consult for
To help you figure out where you're going with your
it's
trees.
a virtual garden consult. Sorry.
And you get the BioFlora crumbles. Now the $1,000 in fruit trees, Greg, I have it set up that if they do $1,000 within a 30-day period.
Okay.
So if they want to place, a large order for citrus and then come back and place a large order for deciduous or whatever, we'll go ahead and add it up. So it's $1,000 of fruit trees within a 30-day period.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. And oh, by the way, if you've already placed an order, this has been included in your order.
Yeah, we already got it set up.
Miss Janis has that all figured out. All right.
All right.
So that link again was, go back one slide, would you, Janis?
There we go.
urbanfarm.org/2025 kickoff draw. And Janis dropped it in the chat box. All right.
I did. Now, I do have something about the catalogs in there, but I think it's time, or is it the right time to go ahead and jump into Tom's order? No.
No, it says drawing registration link.
No, I'm sorry. It's time to go. I was off the thing here. We can do the taking phone orders.
Oh, very good. That's all you, Miss Janis
Yeah, I
and
want to I
Robert.
want to talk about how we work um, with our system. Sometimes placing an order on the cart can get a little bit confusing, get a little tricky. Well, this year I was able to enlist the help of a very sharp young man who I'm super mama proud on. My son Robert is working the phone lines today for the first time, but if you do need help placing the order, he can help you get through the system to make sure that your order gets taken care of properly and help you navigate getting the bundles the best way. So hit the phone number to reach him is 602-248-9256, extension 700. He will be available to help today until a few hours after this presentation is done.
By the way, that phone
Yes.
number, the 602-248-9256, was my phone number that I got when I first moved into the urban farm in 1989.
Really?
Yeah, that's where
That's
that
pretty
number came
cool.
from.
You kept it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go get ready and double check and see how many registrants we have because I want to do a drawing
Okay, it
while you
says
talk to people.
about the early bird specials. So, Natalie, which link doesn't work? The early bird specials. So each year we do early bird specials. These are specials that expires. The specials expire today, and the deciduous specials, tree specials expire on November 1st. And the reason we do it this way is because the more pre-orders we can get helps us plan for our ordering. And those early bird specials, that's our best pricing ever. And I just want to touch on this actually a little bit.
I think so too.
Janice and I did a survey a couple of summers ago, and we called every nursery in town that we could find and asked them for their pricing on their 15-gallon fruit trees, and we were flabbergasted at the price. We were absolutely flabbergasted how expensive fruit trees are. And our prices aren't even close. If you want to get an idea of what those prices are, you should call around to other nurseries, but especially our early bird specials are pretty amazing pricing. And so we do the early birds. That helps us and it helps you. So, all right.
All right, you ready for some drawings? Do you have the spreadsheet ready to keep track of who I call out for? Because I'm just doing this as a through the system, the random draw.
Yep.
All right, the first person to get a draw the item. Do you know what it is?
Single tree kit.
The single tree kit. That would be Jennifer Kilauea. Jennifer
Oh,
Kilauea.
I've been talking to her on email.
Nice. Okay, so she gets the single tree amendment. The next person is Donna Moore. Donna Moore gets a
Mulberry bush.
cool. I think we're giving away 4 things right now.
All
And the
right.
next person is Soren Saggio.
Soren.
Soren Saggio. The nice thing about this is that the drawing system that I'm using, I'm pulling, I can't see the name until after it pulls. So this is
Okay, cool.
completely
So that
random.
was for a 4-pack of mulch.
Oh, handy. Any tree needs that.
Yep.
And the last item for today is,
Four pack to the Great American Seed Up. Tickets to the Great American Seed
okay,
Up.
last draw for this drawing. We've got 6 different draws. That is Kristen Delphinus. Kristen Delphinus, you got the seed rep back. I'll get the information on that later. But Greg, I think right now that we've done this, we are ready to go into our very first video on Matt's backyard tour, unless you have other
Oh,
questions.
very good. I
Okay.
don't, and shoot me a yay in the chat box if you're out there, Matt. let's jump in. So Matt is a really cool school principal out in the East Valley of Phoenix, and he started planting fruit trees a few years ago. And yeah, he's pretty amazing what he's done. So let's go ahead and jump in and share that.
Well, then YouTube was making me do a bunch of hoops over here. So
All right.
now where's my Zoom? We're going to share with the videos with the sound. Share sound.
Welcome, welcome, Matt. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
You bet. So, Matt FritzMiller is a school principal and an avid urban farmer. He loves all things outdoors and loves spending time with his family, especially when it comes to gardening, harvesting fruit in their yard, and tending to their chickens. He loves sharing all things farming with anybody who is on the fence or wants to try to figure out this gardening in Arizona thing. Thank you for being here, sir.
Yes, thanks again for having me. I'm excited to share with you today.
Awesome. So before we get to your presentation, tell me, how long have you been doing this?
We've been at this house for about 12 years, but I really started the gardening thing about 2004. My wife and I moved here from Chicago, and we lived at that time in an old farmhouse. If I spat in the ground, whatever I had eaten would have grown. The ground was so fertile.
Oh, wow.
And then we moved out here and I tried gardening and it was not the same. And so I gave up. But the school that I was teaching at, the junior high science teacher had a little garden that the junior hires were growing. And when I saw what they were growing, I thought, okay, if junior hires can figure this out, then I can figure it out. Really, I've been gardening in Arizona for over 20 years now. And it's all an experiment. Nothing is ever the same, but I love being outside and I've loved the way that we've been able to transform the space we're in now. It's totally different than it was 12 years ago.
Awesome. And that's what you're sharing with us today. You're going to show us some before and after pictures and just share with us about your landscape. So let's jump in.
So we call our house Orchard House, and I put on here fruit trees as of July 2025 because we are changing every year. When we moved in to this house in 2013, there were 2 fruit trees. And now, depending on if you count grapevines as a fruit tree or not, we have upwards of close to 30 fruit trees. And it's just been a long process and experimenting, and we've lost things and we've added things and we've moved things. So this is what our front yard looked like before. And this house had a whole bunch of palm trees, and I don't have anything necessarily against palm trees. My problem with palm trees is they don't provide anything. They don't provide shade. They were expensive to trim. And every year when I had them trimmed, I just thought, gosh, I would rather spend this money on a tree that provides something. So over the course of both removing the tall palm trees and the queen palms dying, this front that had no fruit trees, we now have 6 fruit trees there. We started the front tree remodel about 2 years ago, and we've got 6 citrus trees, and we're going to add a couple of more. It depends. I think this winter, my wife says maybe we need a little more time to let these go. We'll see when we end up, but we've got the 6 citrus trees and 2 grapevines. And this is what it looks like now. And over on the left-hand side, we've got a row of 3 citrus trees. I've dug up the grass. And then back behind, it's hard to see with the bird of paradise, but I've got 3 more citrus trees back there. And they're all doing well. And if you notice on the left-hand side, it's hard to see the citrus trees because they're less than a year old. But the sweet potatoes that we've grown under them as a ground cover have absolutely loved the space and are just covering it. I need to promise my neighbor some sweet potatoes because I have to keep trimming them back off of his driveway. It's a great ground cover. It keeps everything moist. It keeps the ground from drying out. It keeps the soil cool. And Greg, you're the one who turned me on to sweet potatoes maybe 3 years ago or so. And I just can't recommend enough sweet potatoes as a ground cover.
Nice.
And so then this is a little closer picture of the sweet potatoes. And again, really hard to see the tree, but right in this area here in the front and back here, we've got a couple of citrus trees they were the 5-gallon trees that are just less than a year old. And it is just struggling, the picture on the left. But I share that because just because you have success with some trees, with some areas, doesn't mean everything's going to be a success. And I always say that urban farming, gardening, growing fruit trees, it is all just an experiment. And the best thing that you can do is put something in the ground, see how it does, nurse it along the best you can. And sometimes it will thrive and sometimes it might die off, and maybe you need to try something else in that area. We've got some pictures again behind the bird of paradise with the additional citrus trees. And these I'm really happy with because these trees are 2 years old. And last summer, Greg, I reached out because these trees were really struggling. Looked like that caracara. They were just, the leaves were turning yellow in the summer. And the advice that you gave me was they're really close to that block wall. That block wall faces west. So in the afternoon, they were just getting hammered with that sun. And the advice was, we've got to find a way to get them some shade and to get some shade on that block wall. So I planted a couple of grapevines. The grapevines are really covering that block wall, absorbing that heat. The bird of paradise is giving them some shade, and they've really rebounded. So
Nice.
I can't praise the urban farm enough for all of the good advice when things are struggling. These trees are doing great. And one of these is a lemon tree. The lemons off of it were absolutely fantastic. And so we're just excited to have all of this citrus in the front yard.
Nice.
So then we're moving back to the side yard. And I do want to just say this, when we bought this house, we bought it because we loved the size of the yard, but it's not massive. We're in Chandler. It's just under 1/4 of an acre. So it's not like we have acres and acres of space. We have good space, but we're not on acreage. And so we just have found the best way to fit things here. So this was our side yard 12 years ago. You can see on the right-hand side, this was one of the 2 fruit trees. This was a lemon tree. Unfortunately, that lemon tree died a couple years ago. And I'll share a story about that. We got chickens. The chickens, what I came to realize at the end of our brutal summer 2 years ago, in scratching around on the ground, had closed the mushroom bubbler that was under that lemon tree.
Aw.
Without me realizing it, that tree went without water in the hottest July that we had in Arizona's history. And so I was able to save half of the tree for about a year. And then last year I had to cut it down. And that was a bummer because it was a huge lemon tree. Luckily, this is the foresight of planting fruit trees. As I realized I was starting to lose that tree, that's when 2 years ago I planted a second lemon tree, thinking by the time I lose this first one, the second one, I'll be able to get some lemons off of it. So
Succession planning. Nice.
yeah, so planning ahead, looking at what you might need and when you might need it. This yard was just all grass, and I don't have anything against grass, but if I'm going to water something, I want to be able to eat something. I want it to provide something. In some grass areas, it provides a place for the kids to play. It provides the place for the dogs to be. It provides a place for the chickens to scratch. But we've really transformed this. So now we have 1 citrus tree and 2 deciduous trees there. I just planted a Pakistani mulberry in January, and I love how that's taken off. The hope is that tree will provide the shade for the chickens that we lost with the lemon tree. And then we've got some grapevines. All of my garden beds are there, and that's where the chickens are. So this is that same wall. Again, this is a ruby red grapefruit on the left and a Pakistani mulberry. And that Pakistani mulberry, it's 8 feet tall, and it is less than a year old.
Yeah, they do that.
I tell people that are asking me about fruit trees, if you want something that really grows fast, the Pakistani and the dwarf mulberries are absolutely incredible. If you're looking for a quick growing, lots of shade, and something that provides food, those are 2 great trees. And then moving around this yard, again, we've got all of the garden beds, and right in the middle is a pomegranate tree that we just planted last year. My neighbors, when they mow, they'll dump grass over here for the chickens, so they have that constant source of fresh grass to eat. And then the chicken coop, we've got 2 grapevines growing up over it. Initially, I thought maybe I need to cut the grapevines back, and then I thought they're growing over the chicken coop. They're providing extra shade, and in Arizona, shade in the summer for all living things is fantastic. So let's just let it be, and it's great. Love this space.
And any of the grapes that are left over that you don't harvest become chicken food.
Yes, this is our backyard, the before picture. And the tree on the right-hand side there is an orange tree. That was the second fruit tree that was here when we moved in. And then the back was just a hedge of oleander. It took me a year of being here to realize that I hate oleanders. Some people love them. They are a good privacy hedge. But for me, with the amount of trimming and debris that I had to deal with every year with the oleanders, I'd rather have something that provides me with something more than just a privacy hedge. I think there were 16 total oleanders. So
Wow.
over the course of about a decade, I would just slowly dig out oleanders. So every year it was, okay, I'm going to go dig out 2 or 3 oleanders and plant a fruit tree in that place. And then I said, never again. I'm going to leave the rest of the oleanders. But after about a year, I would forget what a pain it was. And then I would dig out some more. So eventually I was able to get rid of all the oleanders. And now we have 17 fruit trees in the back.
Wow.
And when I've got the full list there, and it's a lot of great fruit. I got to the point where instead of looking at what I wanted to plant, because when you're starting out, it's, oh, I really like apples, I'm going to put in an Anna apple. Oh, I really like peaches, I'm going to put in a desert gold peach. But then I started to look at the timeline of when we would get fruit. And so instead of what do I want to plant, it was when do I want to harvest? So I would love to have another orange tree, but I would like an orange tree that produces late in the season. So in January or February. So I'm going to find a fruit tree that produces then. And I would look at when those gaps were when I was not picking fruit and try to find a fruit tree that fit that area. The backyard, this is what it looks like now. Everything that you see that is green and tall from the right all the way to the left, those are all fruit trees. On the left-hand side, we've got a mandarin tree. The right-hand side, that's my blood orange. This is my apricot tree. And I want to pause here for a minute and talk about why this tree is special. So this was one of, I believe it was the first or second fruit trees that I planted here on this house. I had never had a fresh apricot, didn't know what they tasted like. So I put it in the ground, and within a year, this tree had grown massive, and I didn't know why. I had planted other fruit trees, they were struggling, and I couldn't figure out why this fruit tree was doing so well. So it took me maybe about 6 months. I was doing some irrigation repairs, and I realized that right at the base of the apricot tree, there was a break in an irrigation line. And it was getting regular, long, deep irrigation.
Wow. That's a good lesson.
I had an aha moment of, you know what? I don't think a little drip line with a little drip valve that gives us a little bit of water for 20 minutes a day, every day of the week, I don't think that's the solution. And so in doing some research and reading, the house we had lived in prior to this had flood irrigation, which was great, and I loved it. And so I put 2 and 2 together and thought, I need to do an irrigation line just for the fruit trees. And so I cut into a hose line, put in an irrigation valve, put it on the timer, and ran it for, I think it runs for something like 4 hours every 10 days. And it's that long, deep irrigation with time for it to soak in. And all of a sudden, after that, all of the fruit trees started doing well. And so as I've expanded the orchard, I've expanded those fruit tree only irrigation lines. So anybody that is struggling with fruit trees, I know there are a lot of people that say it's hot, so I want to give it 40 minutes of water twice a day, every day of the week. I would say in my experience, that is not the way to water fruit trees. And I have never had success with that. The long, deep waterings, every week, week and a half. In the winter, it's every 2.5 weeks. That's what I've had success with all of the fruit trees.
Yeah. Do you get apricots?
Oh, yes. Yes. We get buckets of apricots, and
Nice.
and they're fantastic. I always had this dream of we can make apricot preserves and we can make dried apricots and we can, but with 5 of us living here, we never have apricots that actually make it into the kitchen. We're eating handfuls of them at the tree, and yeah.
So tell me, that's right up against a wall. Do your neighbors get apricots?
On the other side of the wall is an alley. So the neighbors don't, but I often hear people walking down the alley and picking fruit, and I'm okay with that.
Nice. Yeah, of course.
But it is a regular chore. I do have to trim it back because you have the alley clearance, so I've got to keep it up. I think it's 15 feet up to the wall. So every 2 or 3 years, I have to prune back the trees that are growing over the alley.
Nice. So you have fun with this. And
Yes.
what's your favorite thing about doing this?
I can't say there's one favorite thing. I love the joy that it brings my kids when we have people that come over for the first time, and my son, who is 13, is walking around talking about all of the fruit trees. I love that. When I get to go out to the fruit trees with my daughters and pick fruit, my middle daughter, who's 15, she and I last year just picked mulberries. This is our dwarf black mulberry tree, which dwarf has nothing to do with the size of it.
It's the
We
berry.
It is, yes. And we picked a ton of mulberries and made fruit leather. And when it finished, she said, I don't even like fruit leather. And I said, why did you do that? And she said, because I got to spend time with you. And it's that bonding time that we get. And it's eating what is in your backyard. If you have never had a peach picked fresh off of a tree, you've never tasted a peach. If you've never had an apple fresh off of a tree, you don't know what an apple really tastes like, because things that we get from the grocery store, no matter how organic they are, no matter how fresh they say, they are picked so that they will be fresh by the time you get it home. And that's not when they're fresh.
Yeah, I like that. Be fresh.
Yes, be fresh.
There you go.
And this back here, this is behind the pool. It's all of the peach trees. And Greg, I love that the urban farm has the bundle of peach trees that are 3 peach trees that all produce 2 weeks apart. And last year was the first year that we got peach for almost 6 straight weeks.
Nice.
And again, that goes back to the when do we want to eat produce. This tree on the left, that's a golden Dorset apple. I had that in a different place of the yard. And this tree is about 5 years old, and it had just never done anything. And I realized I don't think it's happy where it is. So I moved it to a different area, gave it lots of fertilizer, gave it a deep watering, and all of a sudden it came back. So sometimes things aren't happy where they are. Let's see if there's someplace else and that they need to be, and help the trees find their happy place.
All right, we'll end with that. Help the trees find their happy place, and it helps us find our happy place.
Yes, fruit trees, definitely, that will help you find your happy place.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today on our fruit tree launch, Matt. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you soon and get more fruit trees in this yard.
Woohoo! Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
One of the things that I love here at the Urban Farm, and one of the things that I love to do, is plant. Ruh-roh. All right. That's a video, I think, for down the road a little bit. So I dropped in the chat box, what do you love about his yard? Donna says, really love how he transforms his yard. She doesn't like oleanders either. Carrie says, I love his emphasis on the family bonding. Oh my gosh, that is so true. Richard says, I agree with him. He's adjusting the bubblers. Natalie says, abundance. Yes.
That's the first time I saw his video. I love it. I really like how he came to on his own the same watering that we've been teaching, but his experience of finding out that that was really not the best way to have that constant water on the trees, it just reinforces everything that we've been teaching. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Dennis says, what was the watering schedule? 4 hours every 10 days? Yes. If you're planting per our recommendations, you've got a 6-foot diameter basin with 6 inches of woody mulch and some green ground cover growing underneath the tree, watering it once every 7 to 10 days with a deep water is plenty. Yes, Janis.
This takes into account that he had a very good watering system that delivered the sufficient amount of water within those 4 hours.
Yeah.
If all you have is the spaghetti emitter, 4 hours is not enough.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
you need to take your individual watering delivery method into consideration to develop how long you're going to water. But the timing between watering is definitely about 10 days during the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Cheryl says, I get flood irrigation every 2 weeks in the summer and once a month in the winter. Yes, that's where I learned about successful watering our fruit trees. In 1975, I planted my first fruit trees in Phoenix, and we had flood irrigation, and they thrived. So, yes, yes.
Kara asks, how is the water bill impacted by the deep watering irrigation? Excellent question. I think we're going to cover that a little bit more during our planting, watering, fertilizing class. However, super quick, if you are watering on a daily basis, X amount of water versus the same amount of water on a 10-day schedule, you're going to be using the same amount of water and your bill will be the same. However, your watering will be more impactful and less problematic on the extended space between waterings than it would be on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
using the same amount of water in the proper way is going to be more efficient and a better use of the money spent.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Where are we going to next?
Well, the next thing we've got going is we're going to go into a video about one of your favorite peach trees. We're going to
Ah,
introduce
yes.
the desert gold, and we're going to follow up with that by talking about root camp.
All
All
right.
right. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Just make sure I've
It's a
got
quick video.
Yep.
The things that I love here at the Urban Farm, and one of the things that I love to do is plant fruit trees. The reason being is you plant fruit trees once and you get fruit for dozens or hundreds of years. I have 2 citrus trees in the backyard that were planted in the 1920s. That's 100 years ago, and I get fruit off of them every year. This happens to be my favorite tree. It's a peach tree. It's called the Desert Gold Peach. It is an amazing, juicy peach, hugely prolific. It will make so many peaches, you won't know what to do with them all, I promise. They absolutely will make your toes tingle and probably splash down the front of you. Enjoy. Oh, oh. You got to get yourself one of these. Oh my God. That's heaven.
I love that one.
Yes, yes, me too.
Yeah. All right. So are you ready to start talking about the root camp?
I am.
I want to share my screen really quick to kind of talk about what happens with root camp. And I want you to be able to show them what happens.
Okay.
So root camp, emphasis on the R, root camp is was built out of necessity because we had so much education over the last several years that trying to be able to have what we needed for individual questions ready at the fingertips for those people who needed it. Because if somebody wanted to talk about what their problem was with their basin, or if somebody had a problem about their watering, or whatever the question that came up, being able to have it accessible all the time and in a way that your question could be found, the answer to your question could be found easily, whoever you were, was what we needed to create. And so we created this library that put all of our fruit tree education into. So that's Root Camp, right, Greg?
Yes, it is.
What do you want to say about it?
I want to say it's an amazing program. I'm sorry, you told me to pull it up.
I did, I'm sorry.
It's an amazing program. It's a culmination of my 30 plus years work in fruit trees and Janis's 10 years with us, where we actually put it all together in one place.
Yeah. And if what I decided to do when I was creating Root Camp was to try and put it in a logical step-by-step order. But we needed some headings. So it just kind of created this process that if, depending on where you're at, you would be able to move through the lessons to find what you need. So we've got the Fruit Tree Program basics. That's the basics about what we do. And then moving into what you might need to know before you buy your fruit tree. And believe it or not, there's multiple educational lessons in that. And then when you're bringing home your tree and preparing to plant, we've got stuff in there. Greg, are you ready to share your screen yet?
Yeah, but I can't. If you can log into your customer hub, that would be great because I'm not getting it.
No, I can't right now. My screens are all
All right.
taken. But
right.
basically, this is the categories that you will be getting into. There are different lessons, and we have different formats. We've got educational videos, we've got articles, we've got PDFs. Those are all different versions of information that might work differently for different people. We also have some of our best monthly fruit tree care information in the fruit tree session. Now, I will be honest, the number of lessons on this slide might have increased since the last time I updated this slide.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so, and this is subject to change. We just try to keep updating and adding what we find in there. So
I did drop the link to sign up for Root Camp in the chat window.
it's really easy. urbanfarm.org/root camp.
Yes,
Yeah.
and as usual, it's free. All of our fruit tree education is free, including our monthly fruit tree chats,
Yeah.
because we're
Now,
here to help you and make sure that you are successful with growing fruit trees in the desert or wherever you are.
yeah. The more successful people we have, the better our valley's going to be. All right. Now, I know that when we started doing the root camp, it was a little bit chaotic and unfortunately had a little bit of a glitch this last week with the internet having a downed access to it. But if you have been using root camp prior to this last week, it has been fixed. It is supposed to be active now. I'd love to hear back from you. What is it that you'd like us to update, to add, so any kind of clarity that needs? Please go ahead to urbanfarm.org/root camp, not boot camp, it's root camp, and let us know, because this is a group effort.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
So we are now ready to do the prize drawings again. Greg, are you ready? I'm going to stop
Yes.
sharing so I can start pulling names without sharing everybody's names.
Perfect. We got a fruit tree we're giving away, $69 value.
Okay. Let me go back in and do my sort. We have Adeline Gonzalez. We will verify by email the individuals who have this. So if your name is pulled, congratulations, and we will reach out to email and confirm with you. What's the next one?
Next one is a single tree planting kit.
That is going to Debbie Bitter.
With a B?
B as in boy, Itter.
All right. And the next one is a mulberry bush.
Courtney Wong. Congratulations, Courtney Wong. I like your email. I'm not going to tell everybody what it is, but I like your email.
All right. And the next one is a 4-pack of tickets to the Great American Seed Up.
Mary Ekstrom. Mary Ann Ekstrom. And when you're there, when you come in for the fruit tree tickets, for the seat up tickets, I'm going to have something for you when you get in there too, for the
Ooh,
winners. I
nice.
got a little gift bag for the fruit tree winners that show up to the seat up.
Cool. I'm unclear about what line 10 means.
We're giving away Seed School online registration as well.
Oh, very good. Seed School Online. So this whole thing of Urban Farm U started in earnest about 14 years ago when I did an online class called Jumpstart Your Urban Farm, I think was the first one we did. And very quickly after that, we did one called Seed School Online with Bill McDorman. And it is an amazing course. We do have it available and up on our list of courses to purchase. So it's 9 lessons on how to save seeds. So that is going to
Kat Karpinen. Apologize if I said that wrong. Kat Karpinen. All right.
you heard Kismet saying hi.
Oh, I love Kismet.
Kismet's my dog. All right.
So, who is Tom Spellman?
Tom Spellman is a longtime friend of mine. I've known him for at least 20 years. He is, and I will, he gets a proper introduction when we start the video, but he knows more about fruit trees than anybody that I know. And that says a lot. That man is a font of incredible information. So,
Yeah, I love working with him. I got to sit and talk with him one of the first years that I was working with you. And he was so genuine,
mhm.
so willing to help. And I was just getting started. I mean, I was definitely had the biology type stuff background, but I didn't have the fruit tree background when I started with you. And Tom sat and chatted with me, and he was just, I'm like, I want to talk with him for hours. I was ready to learn more. So this is cool. I love being able to share this.
Nice.
All right, let me find my
Let's
share
jump in.
button. I lost my share button. There it
And this
is.
is, successive ripening and backyard orchard culture.
There we go.
Nice. Welcome, everybody. Greg Peterson here from Urban Farm Nursery, and I'm here with Tom Spellman. Welcome, Tom.
Good morning, Greg. Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Oh my gosh, as always, thanks for being here. So Tom has been involved in the nursery business since 1973. At that time, he was a freshman in high school and rode his skateboard to work. I always love that story. Since then, he has worked for several different nurseries, including Laverne Nursery, where he was general manager for 20 years, and Dave Wilson Nursery, where he was the Southwestern sales manager for over 20 years. Most of all, he is the person that knows more about fruit trees than anyone else that I know, and that's cool. So thank you for all that great information over the years, Tom.
Well, it's my pleasure. And I think it just comes from 53 years of being in the business and seeing everything forwards, backwards, and sideways. And what I've been able to do for 53 years is to make a living out of what many people do as a hobby. And that's been just
Right?
an awesome career. It couldn't have been any better for me and still going strong.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. In this segment, we're going to talk about successive ripening. What is it and why is it important? How about if we start with what is it?
Successive ripening is really something that is going to be based on your climate. There are many climates in this country or around the world, where you can grow fruit and harvest something out of your yard almost on a daily basis. And that's what successive ripening is all about. It's not about commercial farming. It's not about a farmer wants to grow 50 acres of late Legrand nectarines and come in and harvest the whole crop at one time and get it washed and packed and shipped and out to market. And that's what he does for a living. That's when he gets his check. But successive ripening is, you don't want a lot of fruit at any one given time. You want a little bit of fruit as often as possible. So in Southern California, in Phoenix, Arizona, and most of the Southwestern United States, we have an opportunity to grow food on a regular basis where we can harvest something almost all the time.
Yeah.
And that is an absolutely wonderful thing to be able to go out in your backyard and pick something for dinner or for dessert or just to snack on an apple or a peach or a navel orange. It's all based on climate. There are a lot of climates. You get into the northern climates and the eastern climates that have long, harsh winters, and their successive ripening may take place over 3 or 4 months, where ours can take place over 8 or 9 or 12 months.
And basically, successive ripening means,
A little bit of fruit all the time as opposed to a lot of fruit at any one given time. So that you've been growing varieties that stagger your harvest time. So let's take peaches, for example. In the desert, southwestern desert, peaches are going to ripen earlier than they would in most areas of, say, the California Central Valley, where a lot of them are grown commercially. So if you grew 3 varieties of peach, Desert Gold, which can ripen as early to mid-May in the desert, Tropic Snow, which is late May into early June, and Mid Pride, which ripens up into mid-June and maybe even late June in some areas. So just by growing those 3 varieties together, you now have 2 months worth of successive ripening peaches instead of 2 weeks worth. Successive ripening is something where you can stagger your harvest and get a little bit of fruit all the time. And if you incorporate some plums and you incorporate some apricots and some apples and some citrus, and then now you've created a successive ripening combination of trees where you're getting a little bit of fruit all the time. And size management also comes into play for that. The average homeowner doesn't have use for a commercial crop of fruit. A commercial harvest off of say a mid-pride peach tree in the Central Valley would be about 250 to 350 peaches. And those are all coming off that tree in a week or a 10-day period of time. I don't know many homeowners, unless you're making gallons of peach jam or peach pies until the cows come home. I don't know many homeowners that can use 250 peaches in a week or 10 days. By size controlling your trees, which enables you to plant more in a limited amount of space, now you can harvest that fruit and maybe get 50 or 70 or 80 peaches off of a tree instead of 250 or 350, and you can make use of those. Successive ripening is a wonderful thing to be able to accomplish, and the more temperate your seasons are, then the more you can take advantage of that and harvest over a long period of time.
and so you mentioned keeping the trees small. This goes into something you like to call backyard orchard culture. Can you say a little bit about that?
Backyard orchard culture really encompasses 3 concepts. Number one, size control your trees so they're manageable for you. And I'm never going to tell anyone how big their trees should be. I simply say choose a size that works for you and keep your trees managed at that size. And if you want to grow a 20-foot plum tree, I have no problem with that because it's not my tree. I don't have to worry about trying to harvest out of that tree. Size control, to choose the size that works for you and accept the responsibility to keep those trees maintained at that size going forward. Number one concept. Number two is what we just talked about, successive ripening. You want to incorporate as many varieties into your planting as you can, climate being the determining factor on that, so that you can harvest fruit for as long a period as possible. So look for varieties that are adaptable to your area, to your climate, that produce well in your zone. Look for fruit varieties that you like and plant a successive ripening combination so you can harvest over a long period of time.
And by the
And
way, all the trees that we bring into our program for the Urban Farm Fruit Tree Program are climate and season appropriate for the low desert.
yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that I have done over my career with Dave Wilson Nursery is I've made sure that anybody that I'm dealing with, and no matter what their climate is, they're getting varieties that are adaptable to their climate. They're getting varieties that are full flavored varieties, and they're getting varieties that are grafted onto a rootstock that's also adapted to the soil and the climate of that area.
Yeah, perfect.
And then the third concept is really simple: grow what you like and what you'll use. Grow what your family likes. It doesn't do you any good to grow something if you really don't have a use for it. And I have a funny story I got a phone call, and this probably goes back 15 years, maybe even more. And it was maybe October. And the guy just says to me, "What do you do with quince?" And I said, jokingly, I said, when I was a kid, I used to throw them at cats on my grandmother's back fence. And
Oh,
he said, "Oh, my wife's a cat lover. I wouldn't do that." But he says, "Let me explain myself." He says, "About 5 years ago, I went down to the Kmart and they had all their leftover bare root trees on sale for $5 a tree." And I said, "Wow, that's fantastic. You can't
right.
grow a tree for $5. That's a gift." And he said, "Yeah, but all they had left were quince. So I bought 5 of them. Minimal financial investment of $25. But now consider 5 years worth of your ground space, 5 years worth of irrigation, fertilization, pruning, sculpting, making those trees everything you want them to be, only to find out that you don't have a use for quince." So I said, quince is a processing fruit. I make jams and jellies, and my grandmother used to make these fantastic quince tarts, and it's not the kind of fruit that you just eat out of hand. And he said, "Oh, I found that out." Says, "I went out and looked at the tree and I picked the biggest, brightest one I could find, and I took a bite out of it, and it was horrible. I threw it down on the ground." Make sure that you're doing your homework. Make sure that you understand what you're planning is something that you're going to be able to use. Planning something and investing 5 years worth of time, or even a couple of years worth of time into it, to figure out that you
Welcome,
don't
welcome,
like it in the
Charles.
first place,
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense at all. Do your homework up front on that. Control tree size so it's manageable for you. Concept one. Successive ripening, plant a succession of varieties so you can harvest fruit for as long a period of time. Concept two. Grow what you like and what you'll use and what's adaptable to your climate.
Yeah.
Concept three. So if you just follow those 3 concepts, you'll be a much, much better, much more informed backyard grower and be able to make the best use out of your space.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Tom. And we can help you with that at Urban Farm Nursery because I've been growing fruit trees in the desert for over 50 years and I've made all those mistakes that you don't have to make. So thanks, Tom.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing to have that knowledge behind you. And you have done a tremendous job of teaching that to the folks in the greater Phoenix area.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for your time today, Tom.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right. You added some extra magic to the back end on that one, Miss Janis.
Right. Oops.
There you go. So we're going to talk about our classes now. First and foremost, everything that I do at the Urban Farm is all about teaching
Education.
education. It's all about it's whether it's seeds or gardening or fruit trees. We do have some courses you can buy uh, in our in our repertoire. We have those available, but all of our fruit tree education is free. And we do that because we're that committed to you being successful growing fruit trees in the desert. So what you wanted, what you want to know before you buy your fruit tree, this is really important. This stems from what I said earlier in the event where I found out that you can go into most nurseries in every big box store and they would sell you a fruit tree that would never make fruit. I call that bogus. In fact, I was in a Walmart recently about 5 years ago, and I was in their nursery department. I always wander through their nursery department because I want to see what's up, what's going on. And I wandered past a peach tree. They had a really nice potted 5-gallon size peach tree. And you know what the tag on it said, Janice?
Oh, something really generic?
Peach.
That's too generic.
That's all it said. That's all that it said on that
But
tag was
there's
peach.
hundreds of different kinds of peaches.
There are, and there are about a dozen that will make fruit in the desert.
I mean, there's like literally 600 different kinds of peaches, I think.
Yeah, something crazy.
Hundreds.
Yeah, and only about a dozen of them that will actually make fruit reliably make fruit in the desert. So
Yeah, depending on where you live. I mean, if you live in some area, you might be able to get 200-300 different varieties that work in that region if you're really lucky. But if
not
you're
in Arizona.
not in Arizona, because we may be able to grow year round, but there are certain things that will not grow during our hot months. or
Yeah.
it'll grow. It's just we don't want the fruit to grow. We don't want the fruit to harvest at that time.
Exactly.
Exactly. All right.
So if you go to urbanfarmevents.com, that's our calendar, right, Janice?
Yes.
And you can sign up for all of these classes. If you sign up, the replay of this most recent What You Need to Know will be in Root Camp this week. I haven't uploaded it yet. But if you sign up for it now, we'll actually send you a replay on YouTube. So that's up and running. And then on Monday, September 22nd, what supplies do you need to plant your fruit
Because
trees?
these two classes are to help you choose your trees and your supplies.
Perfect. And I had an email earlier today from somebody that says, help, I need help with that. Well, we're going to cover that in what supplies do I need for my trees. We also have a great crew on the lot, Jordan and Ray and Janis and Tammy, that can help you decipher what supplies you need for your trees. Go ahead.
And we've even added a new thing where we've had a table with staffed by our good gal
Oh,
Angela, who will
yes.
just sit there and do the math per tree to how much soil and mulch you'll need.
Yep, she's a rock star.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just wander up to that and say, this is what I bought. What do I need? So here's what I tell people. For the first year, to be successful growing fruit trees in the desert, you're going to spend as much on supplements, soils, and supplies as you are on the fruit trees. Just know that.
Yeah, we're not trying to trick you. We're trying to be upfront and let you know that in order to be successful, you're
With
going to
our
have to
heat.
basically walk in. You're going to want to double the price of the tree just to get yourself through the first year.
Yeah, because there's, especially with this heat.
Yeah, there's just
So,
no getting around it.
all right, next
All right.
classes.
Next classes. Now we have classes to help you plant and to care for your trees. Now, the first one is one that Greg's been doing for a long time, and he loves to call it 3 ways to kill your fruit trees. Kind of had to throw in the not because we're not really teaching you how to kill. We just want to point out the ways that what things do that people do very commonly that will kill your trees. And Greg's had a lot of fun with this class.
Yeah, I have had multiple emails this week with people showing me pictures of exactly what we talk about in this class. Just to give you a quickie.
Quick. Yeah,
If
we
you
got time.
if you plant a tree in a gravel yard next to a block wall with one drip emitter, it's going to die. In our heat, it's going to die. And in this class, I show you what to do so that you can actually plant a tree in that space and have it thrive. Go ahead, Janis.
And we don't want to judge those who are planting in ignorance, because if you don't know any better, that is a method that will work in other areas of the country. It will not work here. We want to teach you how to have your success here in the valley of Arizona with all of our sun, all of our heat, etc. But we also want you to be educated so that you know and you can share with your friends and your neighbors and the people that you care about so that they can have success too.
I gotta throw this out there. Abby says some fruit tree growers suggest avoiding amendments so the tree gets used to growing in native soil. Does this not work out in the low desert? So, Abby, I've been growing fruit trees since 1975 in Phoenix, Arizona, and it is my experience that says you have to amend the soil. If you dig a hole, dig the dirt out of a hole, put a tree in, put the soil back, the dirt back in that was in the hole, you're not giving that tree a limb up. There's a 90+% chance it's going to die. So
if
yeah,
you
don't do that.
have the most beautiful, most perfect, most healthy soil in your yard, guess what? It's probably because you got the soils and amendments in there. But so few yards have this beautiful soil that is what the trees need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's dirt you're digging in.
Yeah, and that's
Real
covered also in our planting, watering, and fertilizing
fertilizing
class.
class, exactly. That's exactly. So if you take no other two classes, take the 3 ways and the planting and watering and fertilizing, that gives you everything you need to know to be successful in growing fruit trees in the desert.
Yeah.
And
Now,
then, go ahead, Janice.
if you're ready to invest a little bit more time, energy, money, then or you need to be super frugal on your time, energy, and money, the class Leveling Up Your Fruit Tree Care will help you decide where to go. If you are with limited financial, limited time, we can tell you what levels of care happen in each different type of care zone that you're going to be doing for your fruit tree so that you can make a choice. I know that finances are tough at sometimes. A lot of people are struggling. So if you only have a little bit of money, let's help you figure out where to make the most impact with that. But if you are able to really invest and you're financially able to and willing to put the time and the energy and the money, this is where you can use the strategies to do the most impact, the most effect on your orchard. Now that class on Monday, September 29th, that's me. I teach that class. It's using my OCD, my level of trying to manage and categorize things that class came out of. But it's also the day after our citrus pickup, so it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to see how that goes. Just
There you
come
go.
join me, and we'll have fun with that one.
Chikay says, are the root camp classes only for desert tree growers? So
Ooh, good question.
if you don't know this, I decided 3.5 years ago well, a little longer ago, to leave Phoenix after living there for 54 years and move to North Carolina. And what I discovered is that the planting techniques were great here that we talk about. So if you're not in the low desert, these planting techniques will have your trees thrive.
Yeah, they will. They will. You can, and we try to identify in our classes which parts of it are key for the low desert and what parts of it and how to adjust for other areas, because a tree is a tree and it grows in the ground. There's just certain aspects of it that are going to be more effectively adjusted for our area versus somewhere else. And how to adjust, we try to help you with.
Then another thing on these classes, we do take Q&A on all of these classes, questions, and we'll do answers.
During the live part of it, yeah.
During the live part of it. Plus, we do have a class, I think it's on October 6th, that's just a Q&A class, right? There it is.
It's actually October
14th.
14th.
All right.
And October 14th. Now, if you sign up for all of our classes, you don't get this one. This one is where you just have extra questions. You can sign up for the October tree chat. We are going to be dedicated to answering those questions that still linger after taking the other classes and addressing maybe different issues that might be popping up. So it's just Greg and I at your beck and question.
There you go.
Consults?
Yeah, I want to touch on this. This is an important piece of what we do. And basically, it's a 1-hour consult a virtual consult on the phone or on Zoom with me. You send me your questions and your address and photographs of your space, and we kind of review and go over. I answer your questions. I do offer a 100% money back guarantee. If you're not happy, I will give you your money back, but that's not really ever happened. And it will change the way you look at your yard. This I promise. About 10 years ago, I still remember this consult. I was doing a consult with a young lady, and when we got all done with it, she said, "Oh my gosh, I so wish I would have spent the money on a consult before I killed 10 trees."
I remember that one.
She said she killed $1,000 worth of trees. Consults aren't free. We do charge $120 for them. All the rest of our education is free, and it will change the way you look at your yard. And I really encourage you to consider doing that. It will put you way ahead of the game when you're, managing out your space.
Now, if you spend $1,000 on fruit trees, within a 30-day period, this is what you're getting free, this
Yes.
personal consult. And I believe, I got to go double check, but there are also signups for this in the calendar at urbanfarmevents.com.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I went to the urbanfarm.as.me, and that takes you right to the page if you want to sign up.
Multiple locations. Whatever works, get you there. We're going to
There you
help
go.
it, right?
All right. Oh,
Are you ready to order trees?
there
This is
you
how
go.
the citrus program works. The pickup is this month. So our early bird season is already open for both the citrus and the deciduous, which basically means we've opened the cart, we've got the best prices, the best availability, because the sooner you order, you'll get it less likely that we'll have run out of something. We do have bundle offerings that are available through Sunday night for citrus. Citrus is going to cut off, and it'll move into our thing because we have to place our order and we need to lock it in.
Yeah,
for
we'll be
citrus.
placing our citrus order next week, so we need to know what you need.
Yeah, we need to lock it in and do our math and do our calculations, because we got to figure out staffing. We got to figure out how many trucks of trees we're getting, etc. It's not just a quick click thing. It's in process on our side. But so citrus early bird is wrapping up, but the deciduous early bird will continue through end of October. Pickup for citrus is already open. To register, it's happening the last weekend of September, first weekend of October, and then January is for deciduous. Again, you can shop online by going here and do I have the thing? I think I have it. No, I don't. If you want, I have coming up later today, I do have information on how to register for pickups. But go ahead and place your order, write down this number. Robert is ready to help you at that place.
And we have some giveaways now.
We do. My turn.
Yes. We're giving away a fruit tree.
Where's my... Sorry, changing screens. All right, ready? Scramble. Refresh the screen. Do a drawing. We have Chike Ishikawa. If you are not local and you get a tree or one of these products and you would like to put it back in for somebody else, please let us know, because
We don't ship.
We don't ship. I think I saw that Chike's question is that they are from somewhere else.
Yep.
So that just happened. Chike, let us know. Are you local? Or would you be able to pick up a tree here local?
All right.
What's the next one?
Multi-tree bundle. A multi-tree bundle is, so our tree planting bundle is the supplements that you need to put in the hole. It includes 2 pounds of azomite, 2 pounds of worm castings, and 2 ounces of mycorrhiza. That's the single tree kit. The multi-tree kit is 3 of those.
No, it is a multi-tree starter amendment kit.
Yep.
We don't use bundle because bundle is the trees.
Oh, very good.
That'd be confusing. So it's a multi-tree starter amendment kit, and Kevin Kral gets that. That's great.
What's the last name?
Kral. That's about a $28 value, I believe.
Okay. And 4-pack of tickets to the Great American Seed Up.
Gladys Rionda. Scramble. Gladys, Gladys Rionda. I can
Oh,
put the information in a little bit later.
yeah, all right, cool. And oh, a tree paste. So we have this really cool product. This is who we're going to hear from next, the guy from IV Organics. And we're giving away, this is an amazing, amazing product. He explains it here in a little while. So this is a $40 value tree paste. Who gets this, Janice?
That goes to Gary Schuler.
All right.
Chike, you say that you live in Tennessee, but you're willing to pick up. Are you willing to drive all the way to Phoenix to pick up a fruit tree?
Yeah, fruit tree's not going to work in Tennessee.
No,
So,
let's do something else for her. I'll pick up
all right.
something else for her.
All
All
right,
right, so
cool.
Gary Schuler. And then we'll pull somebody else for the fruit tree. Scramble, scramble. Jennifer Nash.
Oh,
Jennifer Nash gets the fruit tree. Chike, I'll hit something else for you. Do we have another one?
that's it.
All
Let's jump
right.
in. Let's hear from, let us hear from
Ivy Organics.
IV Organics. I love it. Let's
All
do it.
right. Share my screen. Share my screen.
Don't play around with other videos behind the scenes while we're. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Greg.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you here and share about IV Organics. Charles Malky is the founder of IV Organics. He's a biologist, attorney, All-American swimmer, philanthropist, inventor, entrepreneur, and author. At the heart of all of Charles's successes is his love of life and passion to educate others on the limitless topics that relate to plant sciences and its benefits to you, your family and friends, our community, and the planet. How cool is that?
It's very cool. I'm living the dream.
Yeah, and we're going to have you talking about how IV Organics started on our podcast here in the next few months. But today we want to talk about your product. So tell me about IV Organics, please.
Thank you. And thanks for having us here. Ivory Organics, as I just said in regards to living the dream, is for most of us, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers, gardening is simply a hobby. And the fact that I was able to take a passion of mine from my earliest memories, 5 years of age, that drove me onto a medical path that eventually led into the practice of law. And then here we are with Ivory Organics for well over 10 years now, helping gardeners around the world grow their fruits and vegetables in a much healthier, more productive, more successful, all organic way.
Nice. And so you have a line of products at IV Organics. Tell me about your tree paste.
We do. We have about a dozen products, and Ivory Organics was born out of the concept, which if there was an encyclopedia on gardening, we simply took a paragraph, which is whitewashing and the value of what whitewashing can do for your garden. And we basically blew it up. And we brought that education to gardeners around the world about 10 years ago. And with it, within a few years, grew to become America's leading garden product YouTube channel, focused again predominantly on the value of what whitewashing organically can do for your garden. And our first product, actually, I've got it here behind me, was originally a white can. And this was basically the Ivory Organics first product with just two oils, being neem oil and castor oil, infused with a base powder, again, all organic. And depending on the amount of water you apply, you can use it as a tree paste on your trees. You can dilute it into a foliar spray that you can spray on your leaves. And then with a lot less water, about a third of a can of water, you'll have a tree paste to plug up any holes on your grafting wounds or other damage on your tree. Again, in an all organic, the products are OMRI certified. For those of you that don't know, OMRI, it stands for Organic Material Review Institute. All of the commercial organic orchards around the country depend on the OMRI label in order to introduce those products to make sure that it doesn't interfere with their organic practices of their orchard.
Awesome. And why is whitewashing so important?
So whitewashing is so important and this is again a practice that's been done for thousands of years. And What it does is when you first plant your plants, and I have an example over here. If you take a look at these little trees, these are little baby California native cherry trees. And when they're propagated, they're all close to one another in the nursery. And then as they grow, and especially the trees you get at your nursery that have been grafted, and they're usually in this tree form, when you put it in your garden and it's standing in a place in your garden, now here in the summer, getting 14 hours of hot daylight, the tree bark will suffer first, second, third degree burns, maybe discoloration, more indicative of a first or second degree burn, but whitewashing just like your skin. And if you're at the beach for 14 hours, you're gonna pay the consequences. And instead of the tree putting its resources towards repairing sunburnt bark, you've now protected it so your plants can grow and flower and fruit and do all the things that you want your plant to do, rather than having to suffer the intensity of summer heat. And in the winter, it also offers insulation to the tree bark, also helping to curb the coldest days of winter as well. So whitewashing offers that protection of curbing weather extremes. And then Ivory Organics took it another step further with our yellow label product, which, if I can hold the can carefully here, shows protection against damaging sunburn, which is also summer sunburn, winter sun scald, and insects and rodents, because our base powder ingredients, which you're going to add water to in this can, you will also be adding the 7 natural oils, which include castor, cinnamon, clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint. These two together, when combined with water, the base ingredients will get encapsulating the oils, offering basically days, weeks, and months of protection, depending on the application and the thickness of those oils, which are natural insect and rodent repellent protection.
So this is in place of painting your tree.
Correct. So in the last about 50 years, a lot of gardeners have gone to putting like latex and tar-based products on their trees. And if they had the idea of whitewashing, they would simply put those products which are designed to last forever. Paint is designed to go in your house and it'll be there for 100 years or more. You put it on your tree, and within a year or two, that tree is going to grow, slough off all of that product, and it's going to contaminate your garden soil forever, basically. And as it rains and washes into our lakes, rivers, and oceans, it's basically plastics that are going to be around for a very long time. So Ivory Organic is based on limestone, clay, these mill proteins that create bonds that are about as long lasting as paint, but in a way that once it sloughs off the plant, will not contaminate your organic garden.
Well, it's a fertilizer as well. So not only is it protecting the trunk from bugs to get in, but it also has fertilizer components to it that go in through the bark of the tree. Isn't that right?
I've actually never heard that. And I know when we first met, I said you guys are one of the smartest groups that are organic and the questions that you bring. But one of the ingredients, which you'll see on the back, and as I just mentioned, is limestone, which is very high in calcium.
There you
And
go.
calcium is one of the 6 plant macronutrients. Most gardeners are only stuck on the 3 NPK, but another macronutrient is also calcium, which is one of the ingredients in the base ingredients. So as it's sloughing off, it is contributing to enriching the soil with calcium, which is about 1/3 of the dry weight of a plant. So it's a significant, important macronutrient, which in our 10+ year history, no one's ever mentioned on the value of whitewashing to improving the overall health of the soil.
So what impact does this have on the trees long term?
So if you apply these concept of whitewashing to simply using sunscreen on your own body, you wouldn't go out if you're going to be spending more than a half an hour to an hour in the sun. You're always mindful of protecting your skin. And similarly, the idea is that the day you plant your tree is the day you whitewash your tree. Because again, as I demonstrated earlier, once you're buying your tree from the nursery, they're all clustered and grouped together. And now you're pulling it and they're individually being planted where it's going to have ample space to grow on your property. But sometimes trees take a turn for the worse, especially in that first year or two, since it's dealing with that brutal heat in the summer, brutal cold in the winter. And you can also use the products as a foliar spray, protecting the leaves, especially when they're small. The application of these products are limitless. There really hasn't been any plants that these products cannot benefit, whether it be your peppers, your squash, your roses, and so forth. The day you plant them, you can even spray their leaves, protecting them from pests, from obviously weather. It assists in transplant shock as it creates a light film over the leaves and will serve as an anti-transparent. It's just a very light, very thin film that hardly interferes with photosynthesis. However, there's some gardeners that create a very strong and thicker application for spraying the entire structure of the plant. You can plant it, we've whitewashed it, and then you can spray even the leaves to basically help curb weather extremes and keep pests from chewing on these tender new branches. Whether you're planting tomatoes, peppers, squash, and so forth, being that they're sometimes this little, and if a slug or a sawbug or any little creature just chewed on one or two leaves, that could be the end of the life. So these products have been helpful, even as a foliar spray, to help repel and protect those tender plant tissues, to get them where they're more established and can tolerate pests without much need for assistance from the gardener. It's an excellent way to get your plants off to a good start. And one more thing I want to quickly plug in is, for those of you that do summer pruning, it's a good practice for once you harvest your fruit. Sometimes you thin out your canopy. If you're opening too much light to the understory of the tree, lower tree trunk and lower branches, that's another excellent time for whitewashing the tree trunk and protecting them.
Cool. Well, and we found, especially the past couple of summers, the heat has been much more brutal on the fruit trees. And so we need to do absolutely everything that we can in our power to make sure that they thrive. And your products from Ivy Organics are going to do that.
Yeah, we look forward to being part of everyone's growing successes.
Awesome. Thanks for your time. We appreciate
My
you, man.
pleasure. Thank you. Happy gardening.
I think that's nice. Okay, so that's the product. We do have this in stock, and we can ship this. This is something that
We are going to carry, right?
we have it in stock and can ship it to you. You know, one of the things that came up for me when he was sharing this was why? Why do we have them, why do we suggest that people drench feed, foliar feed, and paint their tree trunks? You want to take a stab at that, Janis?
To help them be stronger, to and more resilient to pests, to heat, to all of that.
Heat
What do you
is heat is the big one. Heat is the big one.
They end up being connected, because if
Yep.
the heat stresses our trees, they have a hard time bouncing back, and that's how bugs get in, because your weakened tree, your weakened immune system will
Yeah, exactly.
allow it in.
Exactly. All right, we have a video on Anna Apple next, I think, right?
Yeah, this is a good one. I love this one.
It's another 2-minute video.
Yeah.
Here we are in the backyard next to my amazing Anna apple tree. As you can tell, it is incredibly productive. We'll get maybe 400 pounds of apples off of this tree this year. Remember, the only place that lack lives is between our ears, because when we look to nature, look at the abundance that's here. Here's what I do with the apples. Make dehydrated apple chips. We can make apple cider, both hard apple cider and apple juice cider. We can make apple cider vinegar. We can make apple sauce. We've done all of that with the apples off of this tree. This tree doesn't follow my urban orchard guidelines to keep the tree small so we can harvest it from standing on the ground. Well, that is on purpose, because in the summertime, the sun sets right about there. So what this is doing is this is giving me a nice shade structure for the back patio in the late afternoon in the summer, which is really cool. So that's one thing it does. Number two thing it does, again, it gives me leaves for mulch. Number three, it gives me fruit. The fourth thing for me on this tree is I can actually climb it. Yeah, okay, I know. I'm 60 years old, but I want to climb this tree. I wanted an apple tree in my yard that I could actually climb, and this one is it. So this year we are going to have an amazing amount of apple chips because that's mostly what I do with it. The other thing is we make applesauce, as I mentioned earlier, that Heidi uses as the butter additive to a lot of recipes that she uses so that we don't have to use as much butter. So there you go. Plant yourself an apple tree. They will bless you with an amazing amount of fruit.
There you go. So Richard wants to know where the tree is. That tree is in Arizona. All of the trees, all of the content that we're presenting today, all the pictures are from Arizona, just so everybody knows. One thing that happened in 2014, I was working at Arizona State University as an adjunct professor teaching, and they asked me to go to Croatia on a 3-week trip for a food systems trip. It was a trip of a lifetime, absolutely a
Yeah.
trip of a lifetime. But as I was getting ready to leave, it was during the June harvest time for my apples. And as I was getting ready to leave, somebody emailed me and said, "Hey, Greg, can I have some apples to make apple wine?" And so I said, "Sure, why not?" And I, gave them permission. They actually came in when I was not there. And I was I was in Croatia. And a year later, I got 6 bottles of the most incredible apple wine that I'd never tasted apple wine before, but they brought me 6 bottles of it. It was so cool.
I remember that day, that year that you were talking about that in in one of the tours,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a ripple of excitement that went across the whole room, like about the concept of being able to create these extra items from our fruit harvest.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool for me as kind of when I was back new doing this, seeing the creative juices literally going with all of the people that were in the backyard about being able to
Yeah.
take their harvest and beyond just having a simple fruit, but to having everything else. It was kind of cool for me.
Yeah. Yes,
All
Anna.
right.
Anna you can definitely eat the Anna apple. It's crispy and it's a little tart early in the season. And early in the season for Anna apples is about the second week of June. And by the end of June, they're nice and sweet and need to be harvested by then.
Right. Well, one of the things that we're ready to talk about right now is the general store. So I'm going to share my screen as soon as I find my share button. Wrong button. I'm going to share my screen of the general store.
Nice. So the general store these are all the supplies that you need for successfully planting and growing out your fruit trees. That includes soils and fertilizers, liquid fertilizers, granule fertilizers.
And you can find it when you go to the store, urbanfarm.org/store, and you will click this general store. Here are the multiple different categories that are offered, or you can scroll down and find our different categories of items. Now, just for instance, we were talking about the Ivy Organics. You can find them in the pest management. I thought that would be the best place to put it because heat is kind of a pest on our trees, and you can find them here. At the moment, I've got white and green listed in the cart. We are ordering a couple other colors that once they show up, I'll add them to the cart, but you can switch on lot if you need to change it from whatever's available. But this is our pest management section. The individual items, when you are looking through our cart, you can see a description of what it is. And then you can find product features, a bigger description, application, like how to apply it, and when and where to pick up. So some of these items I've actually put in there. If you can have it picked up at our Mesa or Glendale location, or if we ship. So that'll be there too. Some of the items we don't ship. So I'm going back to general store. And in our soil, our mulch, our dry amendments, we're not going to ship these. They're just too big, too bulky. For instance, our bioflora, that will not be shipped. And it'll say this does not ship, local pickup only. So if you see that on any of our products, we're not going to ship it. We're not a shipping company. We just do a little bit of shipping. We do have the buy three, get one free on certain items. Go
So
ahead.
I'll tell you something. Janice suggested something cray a few years ago. She said, Greg, what if we start offering such and such for you buy 3 of them and you get 1 free? And I said, what are you talking about? And that has grown into the most amazing thing. It's a super value for y'all. And we decided to put the buy 3, get 1 free in the bioflora, which is huge.
New this year, we are offering the bioflora in the buy 3, get 1 free. But see, Greg started this actually before I got there with the mulch, because you needed a lot of mulch, buy
Oh,
3, get
yes.
1 free with the mulch. And then we just expanded it and, we offer it. But it's only available if you see the Urban Farm Bundle button. You click the buy 3, get 1 free. And now this quantity includes all of the trees, all of the price of the 4 items, whatever it is.
I was going to say not trees. We don't do this with trees except for the potted dwarf black mulberries.
I was jumping ahead of myself and I knew that I wanted to say not on trees. And so trees came out. But yes, you're right. The price is per single bag on list unless the buy 3, get 1 free box is checked. And you can see that there. So our general store, you can fly around here to see different options. Greg's favorite supplies are listed here. Our liquid amendments are here, foliar feeding, etc. If you're interested in drip tape, got a whole class on that. You can see our supplies here. You can grab some information about the consults. If you need a gift certificate for somebody, we'll even do that. We can do it either electronically or it can give you a hard copy. So this is our general store. That's what we have. And locations, if you are going to add this to your cart, we want to make sure that you understand the big supplies, the big bag supplies, the mulch, the soils, the fruit trees of any size, shape. They are all available at our Phoenix location only.
And we do not ship them. Sorry.
Yeah. So we have pickup in North Glendale for our small items. We have pickup in Mesa for small items. But we also occasionally will have bioflora and azomite at those locations if we're not having too much stored, because these are residences. And then we also have our citrus pickup and our deciduous pickup. We will help manage this on your order. So if you accidentally pick the wrong one, we'll help you with that.
We got to get on with it. We're running a little behind.
Are we running behind?
We're running
All
behind.
right. So we got to do a couple drawings. You ready?
Let's do it. The next one is for a consult with me.
A consult with you. Scroll. I'm refreshing. Nick Ehrman. I will go ahead. Just put Nick E in on the list, and I will go ahead and put that. Nick Ehrman, you got a consult.
All right. And the next one is a multi-tree bundle.
That scroll. Hold on, refresh. Get all the names. Suzan Kabbalah. Congratulations, Suzanne. You've got a multi-tree bundle. That's the azomite, the worm castings, and the mycorrhiza. It's kind of hard to say mycorrhiza sometimes, so we just call it myco.
Myco, there you go. And the next one is a mulberry bush.
Fresh. Holly grounds.
And the next one is a 4-pack for the Great American Seed Up. We've got a slide coming up on what that is. If you don't know what it is, we're going to talk about it in a little while.
Marianne Chiquete. Marianne Chiquete, Chiquete.
Thank you. And a can of tree paste.
Aha. Sharon Johnson, you're going to get, I don't have the can with me. You're going to get a can of the 3-in-1 tree paste.
All right. Okay, let's
All
jump
right.
into what's next, which is oh, this is our foliar from last year.
Foliar.
Susan is a riot. I love what she's doing. She's an author. She's up in Toronto. She has a podcast on fruit trees. She started a fruit tree orchard up there about 10 years ago that's in a public park. She's just a rock star. And I love her content. So
And
enjoy.
before we get to that, if you are a prize winner, stay tuned. I'll have instructions on how to redeem those.
Cool. Susan, thank you so much for being here on our 25th year anniversary fruit tree program launch. I'm excited you're here.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations for 25 years. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a little mind-boggling to me, but yeah, it's it's one of those things, this, it's something you have to do. We have to do this, right?
It absolutely is. Like when I started my journey, I would ask myself sometimes, why am I so passionate about fruit trees? What is driving me? Like there are other things I could be doing, but I just kept going in that direction. And I think you're the same.
Yeah, exactly. What are we going to be seeing here in this video?
So one of the interesting things about fruit trees, obviously, is they need nutrition. And we all think in terms of the roots as the way the nutrition comes into the tree. And yet I had heard for years about foliar spraying, and I'm thinking, how can spraying the leaves of a tree actually feed the tree? I understood that the nutrition came in through the root system. So I had to dig deep and find out the answer, and the answer really surprised me. And so this video will take you guys on the journey of discovery, how it is that fruit tree leaves can help feed the tree and give you a healthier tree.
Plus, when I was watching it the first time, actually, when I was watching it the first and second and third time, I laughed out loud several times. So it's really fun to watch. So thanks, and let's get to the video.
Until now, we've been learning what we humans can do to build healthy soil. We choose our fertilizers, mulches, and amendments carefully, and we apply them correctly. But in this lesson, we're going to learn how we can get our fruit trees to do lots of the legwork for us. And believe me, they know what to do. Trees understand collaborative relationships to the depth of their very being. That's why they take up to half of the energy or sugars that they create during photosynthesis and dump it into the soil. Can you imagine? That's like taking up to half of everything you earn and giving it away to friends, family, and even strangers. But trees do that without hesitation, because they know if they share their bounty with soil microbes, then those microbes will return the favor by processing nutrients in soil organic matter and releasing those nutrients in plant available form. So one way we can improve soil quality is by helping trees increase their photosynthetic efficiency. Of course, the tree will benefit directly, as it will enjoy an abundance of sugars to invest in its own biological functions, but the tree will exude up to 60% of those sugars that it creates into the soil, where those exudates will attract and feed a diverse community of happy microbes. And that's exactly what we want if we want healthy and productive fruit trees and other plants. That's where foliar sprays come in handy. Foliar sprays can get nutrients into trees quickly. Let's see how it works. As we know, trees take in nutrients and water through their roots. Those nutrients are drawn up into the tree through the xylem pathways that are found in the so-called vascular bundle. That's a strand of conducting vessels in the stem or leaves of the plant. The mix of water and nutrients is called sap, but what goes up must also come down. And during the growing season, trees produce energy or sugars in their leaves through photosynthesis. How do they move that energy around? They do that through the phloem pathways, which are also found in the vascular bundle. The phloem pathways are two-directional. They can take the energy down to the roots or anywhere else in the tree. In this case, the mixture is made up of sugars, amino acids, and hormones. As for destinations, usually that energy will be taken to the three main energy sinks. Those are places on the tree where energy is used or stored. Those energy sinks include the fruit, the shoots, or the roots of the tree. Now, not all the sugars that make their way to the tree roots will stay there. As I mentioned earlier, 20 to 60% of all those sugars created through photosynthesis will spill out from the roots into the surrounding soil solution. And it's the soil organisms and microbes that mop up this delicious mess of sugars. So they hang around this tree, feeling like they've hit the jackpot. They also eat and break down nearby bits of organic matter, and then they release the nutrient ions that the fruit tree will take in. It's like a neighborhood potluck where everybody brings a different dish to share. And the more this happens, the better life is both for the plant and for the soil organisms. The tree enjoys more mineral nutrients. The microbes enjoy more nutritious sugars. More microbes come to enjoy the bounty. The soil improves, and as a result, your tree gets healthier. And what happens when your tree gets healthier? A healthier tree has sap that is rich in sugars. Larval or sucking insect pests lack the enzymes needed to digest those sugars, so they leave the tree alone. Leaf cuticles, or the waxy skin that covers the leaves, becomes even waxier and more resistant to colonization by fungal spores. So a healthy tree is more resistant to pests and diseases. So now, how can we help increase plant photosynthesis? Which answer might be correct? We can make the sun hotter, produce more carbon dioxide for trees to process, or maybe give our trees quick access to nutrients that boost photosynthesis. The first two options aren't really very practical, but the last one is true. And the nutrients needed for photosynthesis include nitrogen, manganese, iron, magnesium, and phosphorus. While microbes in the soil can work slowly to process soil nutrients, scientists in the 1950s discovered that you can get nutrients into a tree quickly through its leaves. The nutrients go into pores in the leaves called stomata, or through pores in the leaf cuticles called micropores. Some nutrients can be absorbed in a matter of hours. Others may take several days. The speed and efficiency of nutrient absorption through the leaves depends on the nutrient. Nutrients that are highly mobile in the plant, and that means they'll move around quickly and easily once they enter the tree through the leaves. Well, they include potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen, sodium, and chlorine. Nutrients that are somewhat mobile in the plant are iron, zinc, copper, and boron. And nutrients with low mobility include calcium and manganese. Now, that doesn't mean they won't get into the plant at all. But if they do get in, they may not travel very far. So calcium sprayed onto the leaves may make it into the fruit or the shoots on that branch, but the likelihood of it getting into the trunk or roots is pretty low. So if you get the nutrients right, your spray will boost photosynthesis. As photosynthesis increases, the trees manufacture more sugars that they can use and share with the microbe population in the soil. If you do this just once, you'll get a swelling in the population of soil microbes, but if the food doesn't continue, many of those microbes will die. That's not terrible. The dead microbes will become food for other soil organisms. But if you spray regularly and appropriately, you can sustain a good and diverse population of microbes. The microbes will continue to contribute to the formation of aggregates and improve the soil in lots of different ways. And in a year or two, you hopefully won't even need to spray anymore. Your soil will be healthier and it will be able to support your trees without much extra help.
Wow, Susan, that was amazing. Thank you so much for making that and sharing it.
You're very welcome. I find fruit trees endlessly fascinating. And I think this idea of collaboration is so important. And for me, growing fruit trees is an act of collaboration.
Hmm.
Sometimes people think they can plant the tree and then, in 5 years' time, they'll get the harvest. But for me,
Yeah,
it's partnership. It's
yeah.
me, it's the trees, and we work together.
One of the things that I've stumbled across in the past couple of years is that fruit trees need to eat every day. And if we're only feeding them once or twice a year, they are so undernourished. And in our fruit tree program, we suggest 4 times a year granular and twice a month foliar.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
the other thing that I find interesting is obviously fruit trees don't have teeth. And so if they don't have water, they can't take in nutrition. So if they are thirsty, they are also starving.
Well, thank you for that. And thanks for this great data.
Thanks so much, Greg.
All right. So that was Suzan Poizner. She's awesome. This is her book, Grow Fruit Trees Fast. She's amazing. Check it out. Suzan Poizner, Poizner, Grow Fruit Trees Fast.
We've also got interviews with her on our podcast.
Oh, yes.
So if you go to our podcast page and you can look up Tom Spellman, you can look up Suzan Poizner. We're going to get Charles out there one of these times, and you can see some more fruit tree education that way too.
Absolutely. Linda says, how do you foliar feed when it's rarely below 90 degrees? What we suggest in that case is once it gets above 90 degrees, you don't want to foliar feed, drench feed. Basically, you're making the same
Concoction
in a 5-gallon bucket and pouring it over the roots. Really, really important to do that twice a month in the desert. I'll tell you what, the data we're getting back once people start foliar and drench feeding about the survivability of their trees is amazing.
Now, we do go into this more in our class, Planting, Watering, and Fertilizing, but our general store offers concentrates.
Yep.
And the concentrates you add to either you can add to a little tiny spray bottle, or you can add it into a pump sprayer, or you can add it into a backpack sprayer, depending on how many trees you have. And then use, and we have a calendar for that, a program nutrition schedule that'll help you figure out how much and when for the different products. We're expanding on this to be able to add some more information, but what we have right now. And those products are all available in the general store. We've even got a buy 3, get 1 free for the 3 liquid combos that we have from High Creations. We love these products. But we're expanding into, obviously we have the tree paste too. So, and the tree paste has there's a whitewash that they offer. And Greg, we're actually going to pre-treat our citrus trees with a little bit of sunblock this year. So when people pick up their citrus, the trees are already going to have a foliar coverage with a whitewash light sunblock that the foliar nutrients can still get into. It's porous, so the foliar nutrients can still get into it. So we're protecting our trees from the get-go.
From the get-go. From the get-go.
From the get-go.
From the get-go. Carrie wants to know, are foliar feedings as frequent in the winter months? If you can do it.
Well, now, interesting, foliar means leaf. So if you're leaf spraying on your deciduous trees during the summer and the winter and the fall, well, maybe not the summer here in the Phoenix area, it will intake that. But beyond that, you are also going to use foliar applications on the branches and the trunk, because the branches and the trunk can intake nutrients as well. And again, much more in depth in our planting, watering, and fertilizing class.
Yeah, Deanna wants to know if we ship the concentrates. We do.
We
Ship
do.
the concentrates. I don't want to get too far past this. Gladys says, I have a new construction backyard since May. Will the consult be the best way to start? Yes, absolutely. Those are actually, that's the best time to get a consult with me, is you have a blank backyard. What do I do with this? Because I can give you a strategy to manage building that backyard into a dust lowered, I was going to say dust free, but you'll still have some
No.
dust. It'll lower the dust a lot. It'll build
I
healthy
swear by
soil.
that.
It'll build healthy soil over time. So yes, I have a whole strategy for you, especially for new construction. So yes, Gladys, I would do a
That
garden
is-
consult.
I've worked with Greg for years. I got a new house. Even with all the knowledge that I've gained over the years for being here, I still did the consult with Greg on my new house to reinforce what I knew. And I will swear by the lower dust. Absolutely huge. My yard compared to my neighbors, hands down, I won the low dust prize. So yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Rachel says, do we have soil probes? And we will have soil probes.
They're coming in.
They're coming in, so they will be, soil probes will be in the general store soon.
All right. Hey, you want to talk about Katie's?
Oh, let's talk, my absolute favorite apricot. This is an amazing apricot. We got a video for you.
Here we go.
This happens to be my favorite one right here. I have a lot of favorites. What can I say? This happens to be one of my favorites. This is the Katie apricot. And this is the time of year when we're actually harvesting apricots. And come and check it out. These are the best ones to get. These are the ones that are nature picked. They're sitting on the ground. They're the best. I just, blow off some of the stuff if there's any stuff on them. Oh my God. That is the best. Katie apricot. Here we are. So that is a store size apricot. We don't get a lot of those, partially because we're not actually thinning the fruit off of the tree when they're smaller. The more fruit on the tree, the less size you're going to get on the fruit themselves. Normally we're getting something between here and here on the apricot, but they taste just as good. They dehydrate just as well. They make jam just as well. What you're seeing in the grocery store is the perfect fruit. What we're getting here is all of the fruit. So know that it's okay if you're not getting all your apricots like this.
Yay.
Awesome, awesome.
Oh, I made apricot brandy jam
Oh,
for
yes,
my
you did.
apricots.
It was so good.
Oh, yeah. That was so good.
All right, so the way our program works is we do our pre-orders, and today our kickoff specials for citrus trees, actually the kickoff specials are different. Today, the bundles for citrus trees disappear. So you're going to want to,
Yeah.
if you're going to want to get a bundle of citrus trees, it's the best price. I'm going to venture out and say this is the best price on citrus in the Phoenix metropolitan area.
And the way we do it is you go into the early bird bundles and you can pick the 5-gallon or the 15-gallon, and you will slide down and pick which ones you want. Now, these ones are specific for the bundle that are based on the higher volume that our grower has, and that's how you pick it. You just pick the ones you want. All right, so kick-off specials. That is because we have a launch party, the kickoff of our fruit tree program, and we talked about those specials. So I just want to go through those one more time. If you spend $150 on fruit trees and plants during our kickoff weekend, you'll get a free single tree starter amendment kit. That's the the mycorrhiza the worm castings, and the azomite. All right. Brand new this year, we added that if you spent $250 on fruit trees and plants, you can get 2 single tree starter amendment kits, just to help you get started with what you need to plant in the hole. Now, these are essential elements of what we require to plant in the hole with your tree in order to qualify for our guarantee. We're so dedicated to success. We do have a guarantee, but it requires for you to put the starter amendments with the planting. And if you spend $350 on fruit trees and plants, then you will get a 50-pound bag of one of our favorite longtime products in our cart, BioFlora Dry Crumbles. This particular bag of granular fertilizer is not commonly available out there. We've got a long-time relationship with the company that makes it. They are local to the Valley, and they still are selling us this size bag, right, Greg?
Oh, yeah. So the
Yeah.
BioFlora or Global Organics that makes BioFlora, they sell pretty much only to farmers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're basically bringing you a farm, organic, certified farm product. But you can't get it anywhere else.
No, we are using our farm status, urban farm, and we use that to get our foot in the door, and we still get the ability to buy it because we buy it in bulk, like big farms do. That's how we are getting it and bringing it to you.
This is my 21st year of offering this product.
I love it.
Yeah.
And again, if you spend $1,000 on fruit trees and plants during our kickoff in 30 days window, so multiple orders can add up on trees on plants, you can get a free personalized consult with Farmer Greg and that free 50-pound bag of BioFlora.
Nice. Rachel says, I'm planning on buying some deciduous trees. Should I order them now to get the kickoff specials, or will you have similar specials in October? Nope. The kickoff
Answer is
specials,
yes, order them now.
yes, order them now. Kickoff specials are for this event, and they go away at the end of the day today.
Now, beyond being able to get the kickoff specials, you are also ensuring the variety that you want, because we do run out of trees over the next few weeks. Different varieties will go out, and I can't even tell you which ones are going to go first because it's different each year. But we'll run out
Pomegranates
of
this time.
varieties. I know.
Wonderful pomegranates are gone.
Yeah, I think we might have 1 or 2 that are, but we won't know until the delivery shows up.
Yeah.
But we have the variety that you want will be available. The early bird pricing is available, and the kickoff specials. So this weekend is the best weekend. If you miss it, you're not quite sure that this is what you want, you still want to think on it a little bit. The early bird special for deciduous is going to continue through October.
And Ashley says, where do we source our citrus? We have an amazing grower down in Yuma, Arizona, Sunset Citrus Nursery. They're the only Arizona-based citrus grower.
And this ensures that we are not having the problem with the citrus greening disease, because we're not bringing in from outside. They are very controlled locally.
Yep.
The bugs that are the problem that create the citrus greening disease are not coming from that area. They've already been controlled over it, and we're very, very careful about what citrus gets brought into the state so that we can protect our citrus, our statewide citrus.
Yeah.
So you can order online, or you can reach out to Robert, and if you do, tell him hi from his mom, and you can call 602-248-9256 extension 700.
What? All right. It looks like we got some drawings, and then Tom is up next. So fruit tree, who gets our next fruit tree, Miss Janis?
I'm going to refresh my screen to remove the orders that we already picked. All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Wow, that's a slow refresh. All right, here we go.
A fruit tree.
Abigail Oakley. Abigail Oakley, you get a fruit tree. And we're going to tell you how to collect on these in a little bit. All right. What's next?
Multi-tree planting kit.
Elizabeth Stewart, you get our multi-tree starter amendment kit.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Stewart. And next,
Next is a mulberry bush.
Matthew Ricks. Fun email. I like your email, Matthew. All right.
And a 4-pack to the Great American Seed Up.
Byron McCollum.
Oh, Byron. Hey,
Hey,
Byron.
Coach Mac.
Nice to see you here, buddy.
And now, if you get the Seed Up tickets, I'm going to have a special package for those of you who got this waiting for you at the Seed Up.
So, Byron's here today, and Byron has actually worked on the lot with us in past years. He's been one of the
tree
fruit tree workers crew. So
Tree crew.
tree crew. Didn't I say that?
It's kind of
Fruit tree crew. So as it approaches, we are always looking for help, paid help. We do pay for this. Paid help in end of September, early October, and all of January on the tree lot, processing trees and working with customers. And we buy you lunch every day, and we always have fun. So there you go. Thanks for the reminder, Byron, on that.
All right.
Alrighty.
Is that it? Was there another one?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Give me just a second here because I want to load up our classes so I'm not making noise in the background. Apologize that from the last time.
All right. Do you just whitewash citrus trees, or you're going to whitewash in the desert? I'd say everywhere, but in the desert for sure, you're going to whitewash every tree. And both Charles from IV Organics and Tom Spellman have said to me, when you plant the tree, you whitewash it. It goes hand in hand, so do it. Deborah says, just tried your order to order trees now, and the link is not valid. All right, I'll get you a link.
urbanfarm.org/store.
Yeah, and I'll drop that link as soon as the video starts. I'll drop that link in the chat box as well. Are we ready,
Clicking
Miss
on these-
Janis?
Almost. I'm clicking on buttons and I wasn't sure where it's popping up.
Janice's problem is she's got too many screens. She's like 7 screens that go all the way around her head. All right, and that's 7, but it's probably 3, right?
Yeah, I have 3. I love them. And I seem to have lost one of my screens.
We're looking
Okay.
for Tom Spellman.
Yeah, well, I've got Tom Spellman, but I don't want to. All right, we're going to start the Tom Spellman one, and then I'm going to need a moment before the next one.
Okay, perfect.
Share.
Welcome back, Tom. Thanks for being here again. So we have lots and lots of heat and not so much water here in the low desert these days. How can we plan for the success of our fruit trees with those conditions?
Well, heat is definitely an issue. And, it is by far, your biggest issue to have to deal with in the greater Phoenix area there. You guys normally get over 100 days of 100 degrees plus, and oftentimes 110 or 115 degrees. So just imagine if you walked out into your backyard at sunrise and stood there all day long. It wouldn't do your body any good.
Yeah.
So trees have to put up with that 24/7. They don't have a choice. They're not going anywhere. So we need to create an environment in our landscapes that is as minimal stress environment, because that heat can definitely do damage to those trees. So one of the first things that you want to take into consideration is sunburn protection. So there are several products on the market. A couple of them that I like really well. There's an IV Organics product that I've been using for years that's OMRI registered and does a great job of whitewashing to keep that structure from sunburning. Now, another advantage to whitewashing is if you have issues with flathead borers, which all prunus, peach, plum, nectarine, apricot, they're all susceptible to damage from flathead borers. That whitewash will actually deter the borers from getting into that system. So there's two great reasons to whitewash, just to prevent against sunburn and to help to deter the flathead borer issue.
And the whitewashing with IV Organics, that's got nutrients in it. So you're actually painting nutrients right on the trunk, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's an OMRI registered product, so it's completely organic. It does a great job. It lasts for a full season or even better. And you're just protecting the trees from that really the hottest part of the day. And important that you take into consideration the face of the tree. Anything that faces north or anything that faces east isn't going to be as susceptible to sunburn damage as that branch structure that faces directly into the south and southwest. That's where the hottest part of the afternoon sun comes in. So even if you don't want to whitewash the whole tree, definitely whitewash everything that faces to that southwest face. That's where the damaging sun is going to come in. So if you're doing some summer pruning, or when you go and do your fall or winter pruning, that's a good time to just touch up that whitewash again. If you've taken a branch out that was shading another branch and now, that one branch faces south or west, then get some whitewash on it right away. The day you plant a tree in your landscape is the day you should whitewash that tree. Even one day or 1 week out in that hot, direct sun can damage a tree. It's been in a nursery situation where the trees have been grown right next to each other and every tree is shading the tree next to it. And now you take it out to the middle of the Phoenix desert and plant it out in your yard. You've now put that tree in a situation that it's not used to. It's never been in a direct full sun situation like that, where it's getting that direct damaging sun all the time. The day it goes into the ground is the day it should be whitewashed. And then anytime you're doing some pruning work on it, you look at touching that up a little bit if you have to. I think the next most important consideration is trying to control your ground temperature as best you can. As much as I like the low maintenance desert rock look, and I know I see it all over Phoenix and Tucson every time I'm out there.
Yep.
That is not the best possible situation for growing plants or trees. They want to be grown as close to the situation that would be provided by nature. And that's where in nature, they're going to have a natural mulch on the ground from leaf drop from themselves and from all the other trees around or shrubs around. So there's always a layer of leaf litter or mulch on the ground. So you want to provide that mulch right away. You want to make sure that you're putting a good 2 to 4 inch layer of mulch around those trees. And that really does 3 things for us. Number one, it can keep that ground temperature cooler by 15 to 20 degrees. So the difference between 105 and 85 is tremendous.
It's your tree surviving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It will bring back all your bioactivity. It'll keep the earth alive. You're going to have mycorrhizal activity. You're going to have beneficial insects and fungi that will actually help those trees to manage themselves and feed and take up irrigation in a much more natural form. It will make better use of your irrigation water by 50%. And we've done many studies on that over the years. And a 2 to 4 inch layer of mulch will absolutely make better use of your irrigation water by 50%. So
And part of
if it was that reason alone, or if it was any one of those reasons alone, I would be in favor. They're all important. And I think the kicker is a 2 to 4 inch layer of mulch will prevent weed seed germination by about 80 to 90%. So worst chore in the garden is having to pull weeds. And if I can prevent that by 80 or 90%, boy, I'm in.
Well, and so I have my 6-6 rule. 6 inches of woody mulch, 6-foot diameter basin around the tree. So that's what I call my 6-6 rule. What I found that is in the desert in the summertime, 2 inches isn't enough, really.
I agree.
Because it doesn't hold on to the water like a sponge.
I've worked on some projects out there in the desert. The one in particular that I worked on with Bob Morris up at the University of Nevada in North Las Vegas,
Uh-huh.
they had 12 inches of mulch
Yep,
on their entire orchard. And
exactly.
the only thing they made sure of was right at the base of the tree, right at the trunk of the tree. They kept that relatively clear.
Yeah.
So you kept about a 12 or 18-inch area right at the base of the tree with maybe no more than a half an inch of mulch on that soil. And then everything else around it had 12 inches of mulch.
Yeah.
And that project thrived. It did fantastic. They were growing varieties there that never should have thrived in the Nevada desert.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
makes all the difference in the world. So I think those two things alone will give you the advantage of being able to grow with a much less physical stress in the desert. But I've seen hundreds of examples over the years of people that didn't do either one of those things, and they're very weak and very short-lived and not very productive. So
I see it all the time on Facebook right
yeah,
now, real time. And it's, oh, I just shake my head. It's, wow, there's so much more that you can do. And so that was whitewash and basin. Number 3 for us is plant a ground cover. We plant
absolutely.
cowpeas
Yeah.
and sweet potatoes under the trees, and that'll keep the ground temperature down another 30 to 50 degrees.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big advocate of companion planting, especially while trees are young. You planted them on a spacing so that they have room to mature, but now you have 50 or 60 or maybe 70% of that space that's just open. So why not take advantage of that and put a companion planting in there that you can also make use of?
Yeah.
So you can put cowpeas or sweet potatoes or anything that you want. You want to plant just an ornamental ground cover around there, that's fine. But
The,
and as the trees get larger, the cover crops are probably not going to thrive as much. And when they get shaded out, you've got the advantage of being able to make use of those for 2, 3, 4, 5 years
or more, exactly.
or more. Yeah.
Exactly. One key thing I've found on cover crops is they have to be on the same watering schedule as the fruit
Yes.
trees. So if you're planting something else underneath there that needs to be watered every day or two, that's going to be too much.
Absolutely. You don't want to irrigate your fruit trees every day or two. I mean,
Yeah.
when you irrigate your fruit trees, you want to do a good, thorough, deep irrigation and let them go for several days before you're irrigating again. And I've seen people that have it on an irrigation timer. Okay, I irrigate for 10 minutes every other day. And I would much rather irrigate for 60 minutes once a week,
Yep.
or 40 minutes once a week or once every 10 days. And the irrigation schedules are going to change all the time. You can't just put it on a timer and walk away from it. I'm not going to irrigate my trees in November, December, or January nearly as much as I would irrigate in July and August and September. You need to be able to change that system. So some of the newer smart timers will do that for you. They'll irrigate by using tensiometer system. They'll measure the amount of moisture in the ground, or
Oh, nice.
they'll irrigate off of the local weather station data. They have a brain, but a
Yeah.
regular 5-station timer doesn't have a brain. You have to be the brain for that 5-station timer. So if
Yeah.
you just set it and walk away, you have to be willing to go back at least 3 or 4 times a year and change those settings. I basically shut my whole system off about November 1st. And in a normal rainfall year, I may not irrigate until April. This year, we didn't have near as much rain as we've had the last couple of years. And I think I irrigated once in November, I irrigated once in December, and once in January. And then I didn't irrigate from January until about mid-April. You just want to make sure that you're checking the ground moisture, that you understand the ground moisture. So everybody should go out and make the $12.99 investment in a moisture meter.
Amen.
That's just a simple probe and a gauge that says wet, moist, dry. And if I take that probe out and stick it 3 or 4 spots in the ground around a tree and it says wet, 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 then no reason to water. But even more moist is good. When it gets down somewhere between that moist and that dry mark, I'm going to do a good, thorough, deep irrigation.
Yeah. Excellent. I want to touch on one more thing before we wrap up. We do have days where it'll get to 118, 119 degrees. So if you're watching the weather app and it's on Tuesday, it's going to be 117 degrees, and you've just recently watered. What am I supposed to do?
That's a great question, and that's something that I always like to address. So, and we can watch the weather pattern 7 to 10 days ahead all the
Yep.
time. And maybe it's not 100% accurate, but it's probably 85% accurate. Good with that. So when it's been 80, 82, 84, and then all of a sudden it's going to be 105, I am going to do a supplemental irrigation regardless of when my last irrigation cycle was. So if I irrigated 3 days before or 10 days before or a month before, and I know that there's going to be a quick temperature change or maybe a Santa Ana wind event, I'm going to do a supplemental irrigation to prevent against that wind or that heat stress from damaging those trees. So just go in, kick on the system, and do one more good deep thorough irrigation. If you come in after the fact, and I've seen a lot of people make this mistake, that you come in the day after it was 115 degrees, the damage is already done.
Yeah.
So you've got to be a day or 2 days ahead of that.
So pay attention.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much again for your time. I always appreciate it, Tom.
Greg, it's always my pleasure. Wonderful working with you for all these years. And, when you can look back at all the happy gardeners eating their fresh desert gold
Right.
peaches out there, that's a sense of accomplishment. And it makes you feel good. It makes me feel good.
Amen to that. Thank you. Thank you.
You bet.
All right.
All right. While you get that next video ready, I've got a couple of questions I want to answer here real quick. Carrie says, I'm planning to do a consult with Craig. Should I buy trees now to take advantage of the specials? Yes. If in our consult time, you decide that you want to change your order, that's easy to change, but yes, place your order now. Tell my wife I am proud of her, said just one cowpea overgrew my Meyer lemon and the tree died. Yeah, so cowpeas and sweet potatoes, you have to make sure that they don't climb over your trees. You have to pay attention to your trees, keep them off of the trees because they are climbers. And I would say that the fact that the cowpea climbed on the tree, it didn't kill it. There was something else going on.
He did say that the trees will overpower the ground cover. The ground cover can overcome the tree if the tree is young.
Yes.
So you kind of have to keep a little eye on that. The younger trees definitely need to have less of the ground cover going up. And yeah.
Bonnie says, can I use pine needles in place of mulch? Absolutely, you can use pine needles.
Especially here in the valley.
Especially here in the valley. And if you have enough of them, you remember you want to go super thick on that, but pine needles are an absolute. Jenny says, can you harvest sweet potatoes without ruining the tree roots? You can absolutely do that. No problem. We will not be offering a 1 foot deep moisture meter, but our soil probe is 3 feet.
There's a difference here.
Yes.
If you're going for the 1 foot deep soil moisture meter, it doesn't go that far in our soil. Our soil is too rocky. It's just they break. They're too fragile. The soil probe is what we use to see how far down the water got. Not whether or not it's time to water, but did the water get deep enough in the event of the water? We go further into that in planting, watering, and fertilizing, but yes, we will have soil probes. They're not on the cart just yet, but they will be soon.
All right, there you go. What's our next video?
Our next video, my favorite tree.
Yes.
My absolute favorite tree. In this picture, you can see my young version of it right here. Now this tree is huge and gorgeous. And the first 3-4 years of this tree fruiting, my husband didn't really understand what they tasted like because I really didn't share. I just grabbed them all and kept them for myself. Eventually I had to start sharing, but yeah, he's now a fan of the tree. So
There you go.
here we go. Let me share this tree right here.
And a 2-minute vid.
A 2-minute video.
As part of my food forest, we have mulberries growing in the yard. And these are very interesting mulberries because of their size and their taste. And In permaculture, we have something called stacking functions. Stacking functions means that we use one asset, like a mulberry tree, for multiple things. Now, what this particular mulberry tree is doing is it's shading my office. My office is behind there, and this is a western exposure. So this cuts down the air conditioning bill of my office dramatically in the summertime, which is really cool. The second thing that this tree does is it makes amazing Pakistani mulberry fruit. The third thing it does is that it drops leaves every winter. And those leaves make mulch for my compost system here at the Urban Farm, which we'll talk about in another episode about the regenerative composting system that I've got set up here at the Urban Farm, which includes chickens, by the way. This is an amazing tree. It was planted about 3 years ago at an inch diameter base, and it's easily 6 inches diameter now. Plus, there's nothing better than fresh food from your yard that you get to pick every single day. This is how we eat most of our fruit in our yard, standing out in the yard.
My
Gotta love
favorite
those.
tree.
Right.
My favorite tree. My tree is so beautifully huge right now and shades my backyard. So I'm getting fruit. I am getting shade. I am getting a happy me when I try to make other things. Just all in all, I love that tree.
Cool.
All right.
So we're running a little behind. So quickly, how to register for pickup your tree.
Right.
So the way our fruit tree program works is people pre-order their trees, then we open a pop-up nursery. That means we're only open 5 weekends a year, 2 in late September, early October, and 3 in January. So Janis has got a whole system set up for that, and go.
All right. So go to the store. And if you go to the store, there will be an option up at the top of the menu called Pickup Times. That will adjust with the season. And that's the easiest way to remember is it's the menu at the top of the page. And Citrus is open now. If the page has a grayed out book button, keep scrolling until you find the next one. I will add more time slots as I get crew confirmed. If I don't have a lot of crew, I'm not going to have a lot of appointments that day. So, but I do have plenty of slots to cover all of the appointments, all of the orders that we have so far. So that's our scheduling for pickups.
Is that pickup times? Oh, very good. So store at urbanfarm.org/store. At the top, the third item at the very top says pickup times. That's where you go to.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You also will get a link to that in your order emails. When order emails are ready for scheduling, we move them through the system and it'll send out an email that says, hey, schedule your pickup. If you make an appointment, before we go into this, if you make an appointment, we give you an email that says we noticed that you've made the appointment. But if you don't get a confirmation email from the scheduling program, you might have put in the wrong email address. Reach back out to us and we'll see about how to fix that.
Perfect.
I've had a couple people run into that. Again, Robert is waiting for phone lines. You can ask him. He can tell where in the order status your order is too. All right.
Cool.
So drawings.
Now let's do we have one set of drawings left. Let's do them after Shota.
We do. All right. I want to talk about Shota, and you know what? Stay tuned. I will explain how to do the prize winner. I was going to do that right now. How to do that, but I don't have Shota's email. Hold on. I wasn't prepared for that. I thought we would do in the drawings.
Sorry.
That's okay. We were.
Shota works for a company called Tanks Green Stuff. They're an amazing recycling company down in Tucson, Arizona, and they make all of our bagged soil products, compost and soil products. And they came to me about 8-10 years ago and said, hey, how about if we create a planting mix for you called Farmer Greg's Planting Mix? And guess what? It's buy 3, get 1 free.
No.
Along with our woody mulch products that we get from Tank's Green Stuff, and compost and raised bed planting mix. So we get a bunch of great products from them, and all of those bagged products are buy 3, get 1 free.
Nice. All right, here we go. This is our really fun interview, Shota on healthy soil.
Coming to you from the Urban Farm Nursery, and today I'm with Shota Austin. Hello, Shota.
How's it going, Greg?
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for being here. You're going to talk all about soil today, which we're really excited about. And you are also the organization and creator of our Farmer Greg's Planting Mix, which we'll
That's true.
talk about before we wrap this thing up. Shota Austin has worked in the agricultural industry since 2005, working with livestock, goats, sheep, cattle, chickens, cotton, alfalfa, nursery crops, orchards, and vegetable production. As a former U of A compost cat, Shota has been working with compost since 2013 and now works for Tank's Green Stuff. As the executive director, Shota manages all aspects of the business, including production, quality control, product development, sales, marketing, social media, and customer service. Sounds like my job, Shota.
Yeah, small business means you do a little bit of everything. I get plenty of help, but that doesn't mean I don't have to do a whole bunch of different things.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'm excited to have you here yet again. Thank you. We always appreciate you. We're going to talk about it all starts with the soil. So let's get going.
All right, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us today. Soil, that's where it starts with Tank's Green Stuff. We're going to get right into it. Healthy soil. Healthy soil maximizes nature's ability to support plant life and is the foundation for a healthy plants, people, and ecosystem. And so here today, we're talking about the foundation of any garden, any fruit tree orchard, any urban farm. You wouldn't build a house on a weak foundation, and you shouldn't build a garden or an orchard on a weak foundation either. And that's where healthy soils come right in. So how can improving soil health benefit you? Well, of course, it reduces erosion. It supports a healthy ecosystem, increases your soil's water holding capacity, and improves water quality, and then basically creates an immune system for your garden or your orchard, making plants more resilient to viruses and pests, and allowing the plants to better deal with stress. It also improves crop yield, and of course makes for more flavorful and nutritious crops. Last but certainly not least is the soil's ability to sequester carbon from the atmosphere and keep it down in the ground instead of up in the air, contributing to our climate issues. When we're looking at soil, we can look at a simple equation of how soil health goes, and it's chemical properties plus your physical properties and your biological properties equal soil health. And so if we break that down into what is soil, we start with our organic material, our humus, our humic acid, our carbon, our woody materials, as well as our living organisms like our macro and microorganisms, and our inert materials like sand, silt, and clay. So these three parts of what make up healthy soil, and of course their interaction with water and oxygen. And more specifically today, the worker bees of the soil, or the soil organisms. We've got the microorganisms and our macroorganisms. Macroorganisms are things like earthworms, beetles, ants, and spiders, which all interact with the soil, creating airspace and breaking down organic material in our garden. Think like worms, for example. Microorganisms are the much less seen worker bees of the soil. We got our fungi, our bacteria, algae, so on and so forth. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into microorganisms, as that is the focus of Tank's Green Stuff. It's bringing microorganisms into the soil and what they do for us. Microorganisms like fungi and bacteria are the glue that hold the soil together. They create soil structure. They're the worker bees in the soil, breaking down organic material and non-plant available nutrients into plant available nutrients. And of course, they're interacting with the plant on that microscopic level in the root zone as the support system of your plant. One way I like to think about it is that there's a bunch of worker bees in the soil, aka the fungi and the bacteria. If you have 10 guys and you're going to do a job, it could take 3 days. If you have 100 guys, you can do that job in a couple of hours opposed to 3 days. And so the more microorganisms you have in the soil, the more robust your soil microbiology is, the happier and healthier your plants are going to be. And so how do we get these microorganisms into the soil? It starts with dirt. And I like to ask folks, how is your dirt? And that's because most of us live in suburban areas where our houses are built on imported dirt. And here in the desert Southwest, that tends to be a dirt that's less than 1 to 2% organic material and is mostly sand, silt, clay, rock, and is relatively compacted. And so if I'm talking to a customer who's looking into planting an urban farm, first things first, how's your dirt? And most people are going to say things like, oh, it's got caliche, it's rocky, it's hard, it doesn't hold water, it cracks up after rains, and you're just going to have a whole bunch of big issues going right into it. So how do we get that to change? Easy, mulch. And I know Greg loves mulch. The urban farm loves mulch and uses mulch. And mulch is also one of the most commonly misused words in the landscaping game. First, mulch is any material used to top dress the soil surface. That could be wood chips, that could be a fine mulch, it could be a compost. Any of those three things could be considered a mulch. Today, in this first example here, we're going to talk about using a woody mulch to top dress the soil surface. So we've got our dirt, our lovely native dirt, and we're going to throw down some mulch right on top of it. And between our woody mulch and our dirt, we have our soil mulch interface. And once that's laid down over our landscape, we get our rainfall, maybe a little irrigation. And as that moisture seeps down in through the mulch and into the dirt, in that area between the mulch and the dirt where the moisture is held, we're going to start seeing some activity, some microbiology at work, starting to break down that organic material and turning our woody carbon-rich material into humus-rich loamy material. And as this cycle continues and we add more water over time, that soil mulch interface will leach down into the dirt, transforming our dirt into soil. And so our goal here with putting down mulch is to not change the soil drastically, but allowing nature to naturally maintain and continue to develop healthy soil throughout our growing season. And so if we were to do this to our entire landscape over time through the rain and weather and irrigation, we can transform our barren dirt into healthy, loamy, rich soil. Now, this can take a matter of years to do, and a lot of people don't have the patience for that. And so that's where we come into Farmer Greg's Mix. So if you don't have time to wait around for that mulch to slowly break down and change your soil profile, and you want to get to planting right away, this is how to build healthy soil fast. And it's using Farmer Greg's tree planting mix. Farmer Greg's Mix is made with organic compost, composted fine mulch, cocoa coir, and perlite. The organic compost and the fine mulch are inoculated with beneficial microbiology straight from tanks. And the organic compost is introducing that humus and that humic acid. The composted fine mulch is giving us that carbon material needed to support beneficial organic microbiology in the soil. And the cocoa coir is improving our soil's moisture retention. And the perlite is aiding with drainage and aeration. So the urban farm recommends that you use Farmer Greg's tree planting mix at a 60% planting mix to 40% native dirt. We like to throw in some of the tank super mix fertilizer. And of course, the urban farm has a whole list of ingredients and products to use in addition to the Farmer Greg's Mix and the tank super mix fertilizer. And last but certainly not least, the most important factor, it's going to be to put the wood chips or the woody mulch on the soil surface after planting. And you don't want to do just the planting hole. You want to do outside that planting hole. And as that woody mulch breaks down, it's going to change that soil profile around the planting hole. And so as the roots expand out of the planting hole and the tree gets bigger, we're setting it up for success down the road in the future.
And so that's my 6-6 rule, 6-foot diameter basin, 6 inches of woody mulch. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone to check out how a tree is doing, and there are little feeder roots that are coming up into that woody mulch, like millions of them. It's so amazing to watch.
They're trying to get into that soil mulch interface where the
Yeah.
goodness is at. And so now that we've done that and we've planted our trees, here's some things to avoid. And the big thing is avoiding agrochemical interventions. That's your chemical fertilizer, your chemical herbicides, your chemical pesticides. All of these things go towards damaging or inhibiting or killing all of your beneficial soil microbiology. Woody mulch can be used to suppress weeds. And we've been working really hard to create that beneficial soil microbiology, and we don't want to take a back step by using agrochemical interventions. If you have an issue with your garden or your orchard, the biggest thing is to identify what's going on. You can reach out to the urban farm for their guidance on that as well, and they can help you identify the issue, and then you can find an organic way to treat said issue without having to resort to spraying your entire yard with chemicals that are inhibiting your beneficial soil microbiology. In a situation where you're left with no choice, or someone has put agrochemicals in your landscape and you're looking to reestablish your soil microbiology, that can be done quite easily with an inoculant like mycorrhizae, reintroducing that into the soil and watering well to bring back that beneficial microbiology as quickly as possible. Another thing we're going to talk about real quick is pest myth busting. We're talking about scorpions and termites. I get these questions all the time about, oh, woody mulch is going to bring scorpions, woody mulch is going to bring termites. For scorpions, it's a common misunderstanding because the most common type of scorpion is the bark scorpion. And you know what? If you have scorpions, you're going to have scorpions. We did a study with a local school here, and they tested it out for us. Scorpions are going to be just as likely to be in your rocks, your dirt, and your woody mulch. There's no difference between the three materials. If you have scorpions, you're going to have them. The most likely place for scorpions to hang out in are going to be your wood pile, your brick walls, anywhere where there's cracks and crevasses for them to back up into and hide out. They're looking for a hangout, not woody mulch. Termites is the other one we get all the time. Here in southern Arizona, if you have termites, you're going to get them again. If you've never had termites, you're going to get them at some point. Woody mulch isn't going to introduce them to your landscape or your house or your property, and it's not going to attract them. Termites are looking for big, dead timbers. So whether that's a dead tree trunk or timbers in your house, they're looking for something where they can crawl through and tunnel and create a nest. And they're not interested in the small little pieces of wood. But that just doesn't do it for them. It just doesn't get the job done. And they're not interested at all. So those are the two things to keep in mind. If you're concerned, don't be. Non-issue, really. And thank you for having me on, Greg. It's been awesome. We appreciate you reaching out to us to have us on again.
Awesome, and we love having you, and we love your information. Thank you so much for your time, Shota, and
Of course.
we'll catch you on the flip side, man.
Awesome. Take care. Thanks for having me. And don't forget to mulch.
I got it.
I love that. Don't forget to mulch.
Don't forget to mulch.
Somebody asked about mulching. If you're going to have 6 to 12 inches of mulch, wouldn't it be bi-monthly drenching be absorbed in the mulch? It actually can get a little bit caught in there, but if you're putting 5 gallons of water, it's going to run it down through the roots. And it's going to help that interface. It's going to build the healthy soil very quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, do it. And then I had another, I think this was an email or a Facebook thing this morning about making sure that you don't put the mulch up against the tree trunk. You need to keep the root flare clear of woody mulch, and you can do that by planting it higher in the hole or putting bricks around it. You were going to say, Janis?
I was going to say, one of the things that Tom talked about was to have that first interlace, that first foot or so right next to the tree, only about an inch deep. And then from there, go into the 6-inch deep. So right up next to the tree, by putting your tree in a mound, the way we describe in our planting class, it's easier to keep that level of the inch and be able to keep your basin full with the 6 inches.
Yeah. Tell my wife I'm proud of her, says, will mulch increase the population of termites? Absolutely not. Termites don't eat mulch. They eat solid wood. I had termites at my house in Phoenix, Arizona, and I had the testers, the
Uh-huh.
termite traps all the way
Mm-hmm.
around the house. And on the backyard side and on the front yard side, we had termite traps in my mulched garden beds.
Nothing.
Nothing ever. We
Nothing.
never had termites in there. They came up through the middle of the house and into the attic, but they weren't around the mulch. So yeah, no.
We actually had termites in our yard one year. We had brought home a pallet to try and do something with the pallet, and they came with the pallet, I think. And I found them at the base of the pallet. They were trying to chew up the pallet. We took care of them with ants, believe it or not. We put ants on the termite mound and
There you go.
and got rid of the pallet. And I have not had any sign of termites anywhere else in my yard.
There you go.
So there you go.
All right, we have about
All
a
right.
half a dozen questions left, and we have 2 or 3 more things to do. So shall we jump into the video for the dwarf black mulberries?
No.
Okay,
I
I
wasn't
thought
ready
that's
for
what was
that.
next.
That is next, but I started talking about the answers. So give me a second here. Now, the dwarf black mulberry. This is the tree that Greg has been promoting so highly, and my husband loves it as well.
This
So
one, you buy 3 of them, you get 1 free. They make great hedgerows. You can replace them instead of oleanders. Yeah, they're just, and they're the most abundant fruit tree
abundant.
that I've ever grown.
And they will produce multiple times in a yard. We'll go into that too. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here's your dwarf
right.
black mulberry.
Thank you. 2-minute video.
So these are dwarf black mulberries. Now they don't seem very dwarf. In fact, you're going to see the tree version here in a little while. I say the dwarf part is the berry. We get about a dime-sized berry on them, and they're amazingly sweet and so prolific. We literally get pounds and pounds of berries off of these. I like to use them as replacements for oleanders. People plant oleanders here a lot. This is a better thing. It gives us food that way. Come on in and check the harvest. We're getting toward the end of the harvest on this one, but this is what they look like right here. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Now let's go take a look at the tree version of the dwarf black mulberry. These I planted about 4 years ago. They were the size of a pencil when I planted them. Now they're about 5 inches in diameter and 15 feet tall. 4 weeks ago, there were 100 times that many berries up there. It was so packed with berries that it was mind-blowing. But that's a tree version.
Hey there. That's your trees. That's your dwarf black mulberries. This is the only plant on our cart that you can do a buy 3, get 1 free on.
Yep.
All right.
And the
Now
reason I decided to do that was because they make great hedgerows.
Yeah, they really
Plant
do.
them 5 feet apart, and if you buy 4 of them, you're going to get a 25-foot wide hedgerow that is just amazing. Well, you saw it in the video.
Yeah, and if you allow those lower branches to grow out, that'll create a great hedgerow. But if you want them to grow tall, you just don't, you let it grow for a couple of years, and then you remove all those bottom branches
Yeah.
and trim them down. All right,
It is
let's talk.
on the dwarf black mulberries. It is a soft wood tree, and I noticed that the tree versions, if they got too top heavy with branches, would break. So you have to manage them that way.
Yeah,
All right, you were
but
going to say
there's a
this,
lot
Janis.
of fruit.
Oh
There's
yes.
a lot of fruit, and it is an everbearing, which means you can actually get 3, and in some cases 4 harvests a year. 2 is kind of like what people are surprised at. 3 is really good. And if you got the right timing and the right year, you can get 4. All right, am I sharing?
Apparently you are.
I
Are
am,
you a
great.
prize winner?
Okay, so it's really important for this part. If you are a prize winner and you are a new customer, which means you've never ordered anything from our shopping cart before, then you're not in my system. I can't get you what you need. So I'll need your information. Just send me a quick email. Janis@urbanfarm.org, and give me your contact information. I'll need your name and your address to put you in the system. And I'll go ahead and create the order for you. If you are a current customer and you already have tree and general store products in your cart, in an order already, I will go ahead and add your prize in, and we'll send you an email that says you're adjusted. If you are a current customer and you don't have a cart order that's ready, I'll just create one for you and have it holding for you. And as far as consults, it says that I'll send you an email. You know what? I think Greg will send you an email to do the scheduling on that one. Right, Greg?
Yep, yep,
Yep.
absolutely.
All right. Now we just have some little bit of information. We got just a few more drawings, some big prizes on the end here.
Ooh, can we talk about the Great American Seed Up since you have a slide up about it?
I wanted to go there first.
All right,
so no, go for it. What
Okay,
is the
good.
seed
Oh
up?
my gosh. So in the picture in the background, that is a 10,000 square foot room at North Phoenix Baptist Church. We take it over for one weekend a year, and we put in a bunch of open pollinated seeds in popcorn buckets. Now, when you buy a packet of seeds, the cost, 90% of the cost of the packet of seeds is in the packaging and marketing and shipping. So what we've done here is we have given you a screaming deal on scoops of seeds. A scoop of basil, I think, is $1.25. It is 4 to 8 times what you're going to get in a normal packet of seeds for $1.25. So you come and scoop up your own seeds. It is an amazing, chilling event. You walk in and it's just like, whoa.
It is regenerative to be in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're a master gardener and you need hours, contact me. We can even find a room for you on that one. But the Great American Seed Up, the Great American Seed Up tickets are open now. GreatAmericanSeedUp.org. Lots of information on that one.
Yes.
Then
come and visit it for sure.
Yeah. Kelly says she's not been there. Kelly, come join us. You have to try it. PDC, Permaculture Design Course. We are open for tickets, are open for spots in spring of 2026. There is so much to tell you about this. We're just kind of wetting the ground here. There are limited spots available. Phenomenal resource. Check it out, urbanfarm.org/PDC.
It will change your life forever.
Sure did.
Learning permaculture will change your life forever. When I did my permaculture design course in 1991, I had a sore forehead from going, oh my gosh, there's something I can call the way that I think. Because I think like nature. And permaculture is about thinking like nature. So there you go.
Right. All right. Nope, we're not doing that. We're doing the, I'm going to stop share. We are going to go do the last of the tours. And after the, not tours.
I was going to say, are we doing a tour today?
We're going to do the last of the drawings. Okay, let me bring up that screen, refresh my screen to move out the ones that have already got it.
Next one is a consult.
All right, who wants a consult?
What?
Okay, come on. I've only got 2 names. That's not a refresh. Okay, here we go. Consult. Ted Cook.
All right.
Ted Cook.
I wonder if that's my friend, Ted Cook.
You have so many friends.
Probably. Seed School Online registration is the next one.
All right. Seed School Online is an online resource. Classes, very beautiful. We should give a growing food basics one of these years. For Dennis Wilson.
Okay.
Dennis Wilson.
And a
And
fruit tree.
now, if you're here, I want you to tell me in the chat that you're still here. Nancy Bolton.
Nancy.
Dennis is here. Yay.
All right. Where's Dennis from? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And the final giveaway is a 4-pack of mulch,
Oh, very cool.
4 bags of woody mulch.
4 bags of woody mulch to put around your fruit trees. Ray Stutson. R-A-E. Ray Stutson.
All
All right,
right.
folks. If you don't get an email from me in the near future, if you're a prize winner, reach out. You should be seeing some stuff on that. Robert and I will be working together to be putting these orders in the cart that I can to taking care of on my own.
All right, cool. So, real quickly, there's a few questions in the Q&A that I want to
Yes.
address, but I want to do it fast. So this is
Let's do
going to
it.
be a fast one. Kat wants to know, how do you harvest so many mulberries on your tree? One of the things that I did is I put a clean sheet on the ground and shook the tree. It works great.
Yes, yes. Just don't step on them.
Just don't step on them. Yeah, that worked incredibly well. Tell my wife I am proud of her. Says, where can we buy it when Farmer Greg is not open? I'm not sure what you're after to buy. We do have several things you can pick up and several things you can ship. So if you have a little bit more information for me, I can answer that. Keith wants to know, do you ever cover your young trees with shade cloth in the hot summer months? Yes, but there are 4
It's
or 5
tricky.
things you need to do before you do that, which includes planting your tree right, 6 inches of woody mulch, grow a cover crop underneath the tree to cool the ground underneath the tree, and whitewash your tree. So do those 4 things first before you actually shade cloth your tree, and send me an email. Oh, I haven't said that. This is my full-time job. Hold on, Janice. This is my full-time job, and I love hearing from you. So if you have a tree question of a fruit tree question of any kind, snap a picture and send it to me at fruittree@urbanfarm.org, and
Yeah.
I'll respond.
Yes.
So if you have tree questions like that, please send them over.
And shade can be tricky. You don't want to trap the heat, so we go over that more in our other classes. So take our other classes. We'll go over this again.
Yeah.
Kelly says, can they tolerate being next to hot block walls, west facing? Kelly, young trees will struggle in that environment, and we talk about that in our classes on how to mitigate the heat for those first few years and give your tree the chance to grow into something that will be okay to survive.
Yeah, Keith says something similar. How far away from a brick wall do you plant a tree? It depends. It depends on the hotness of your yard. And you can always send me a picture and say, hey, tell me about this. And we have
And
all kinds of strategies. I just mentioned 4 of them a minute ago on how to successfully get your trees growing in the heat.
now, also, if you're going to plan on planting next to a wall, you want to take into consideration what your eventual tree is going to be. Some people want to do some espalier, where they kind of make the tree go sideways. Yes, but if the tree is a fast-growing tree like the Pakistani mulberry, you definitely do not want to put that next to a wall. And if your HOA has limitations, so yes, the question is yes, but it depends. That's the answer to
Yeah.
that question.
Right?
Yeah.
Michelle wants to know, how do you keep apples from rotting before they're ready? Well, if they're rotting, they're beyond ready. In Phoenix, Arizona, the Anna and the Dorset Golden need to be harvested and off the tree by about the 20th, between the 20th and 25th of June most years. Anything after that, they're overripe and you just miss the window.
Yeah, and it really could be the heat, temperature, that it might be the wrong tree for the space.
Marianne says, what can I do to prevent salt burn on my trees due to a hard water well? So what happens actually, it's pretty simple. What happens is you water and you don't do a deep water. And you do that many times and the salt builds up. If you want to wash the salt buildup out, put the hose running on a pretty steady run for like 4 hours. And that's going to rinse a lot of those salts out.
If you have this problem with that, you absolutely want to stick to deep water waterings with space in between, because
Yeah.
that is going to give you the chance to allow the salt to go all the way through in that watering. And don't do the frequent waterings, because the frequent waterings with the hard water is what will hurt your tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, folks, if you got a fruit tree, I will need to know what kind of fruit tree you want. So we will be communicating. If you got, what else do we say? If you got seed up tickets, we will be sending you information on that. And the seed up tickets are including a bonus little thing at the seed up.
Ooh, what's that?
You'll have to show up to get it.
There you go.
Any other questions? I think we're good.
Yeah, there's a few of them that are left, but I'm willing to stick around. So don't put any more questions in the Q&A. Let's see if we can get through these last 6 questions real quick. How
Okay.
far away from underground utilities should we plant a Pakistani mulberry? Underground utilities, depending on what. If it's a septic line that's an old septic line, you don't want to plant it close to that. But underground electricity and water, as long as the water's not leaking, it's not that big of a deal.
Except you want to make sure that the water source for a Pakistani mulberry is going to be away from the water lines, because the Pakistani mulberry roots are gorgeous roots. They're strong roots. They grow fast. And if you ever have to pull it out, or if the wind, if you don't plant it and the roots aren't strong, it can knock over and pull things out. So
Deep watering will help that.
deep watering. Let's talk. I'll
Okay.
gladly have a conversation with you on that at the lot.
Do you know on Ivy Organics how long it lasts once you mix it?
Once you listen, it says it on the can. I believe it is just a short few months once you mix it.
All right, cool. So there is a
And I
limit
put that
on
in,
that.
I think I put that in the cart, as long as it's dry. I actually just did Ivy Organics for my sister. I took a little bit of powder, a little bit of the oil, mixed it up with
It
water.
went a long way, right?
It went a beautifully long way. I think I got 4 or 5 of her kind of young trees, but they were in pots and I got them all done. And the rest of the stuff will stay in the can for several years. Several
Nice.
years.
Yeah, pre-mixed. Pre-mixed.
No.
You pre-mixing, it'll stay in the can.
Unmixed.
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 Yes.
Yes. Pre the mixing, unmixed, it will stay dry in the can.
Yes.
Once you have mixed it, only a few months.
All right. Are there any leaves you shouldn't be mulched? Someone told me about pepper tree leaves shouldn't be. As far as I'm concerned, tree chips, tree leaves, that it's all carbon-based material that breaks down. You might be thinking about some of the nut trees put off an oil that kind of doesn't let things grow underneath.
Yes.
That's a different story. But
Like sunflowers. Sunflowers will do that too.
Once the leaves have fallen, I say mulch it.
And if you have something that you are concerned about, then mix it with other stuff, because it will become diluted with the other organic material.
Exactly. Nancy Bolton wants to know how much water should a system deliver per hour? That is such a big it depends question. It depends on your soil. Basically, for your fruit trees, you want to put a basin, the 6-foot basin around the tree, and make sure that you run the water long enough in that basin so that the water goes down the first year a foot at least and gets the soil drenched all the way down so that the roots can. So you're going to have to experiment, Nancy.
Experiment. Soil probe and planting, watering, and fertilizing. We cover it again. So come join us for that class.
Yeah. Christine wants to know calcium hydroxide, cal lime
Hey, Colleen.
in the tree paste, maybe a portion of the clay. I don't know. I do not know the answer about calcium hydroxide.
Somebody
So
says,
you'd
do
have-
you do both, having mulch and sweet potatoes on the same tree? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a full yard and I tried some experimenting. I had mulched everything and I had sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes covered the mulch. It was a happy, happy, happy yard
Yep.
on the side that I did that. The other side, I limited. The sweet potatoes did not do as well in the mulch area until I put the mulch and the sweet potatoes. Super happy yard, super happy trees. So yes to both. Just keep the sweet potatoes out of your tree.
Yeah. I don't have an answer for this one either. What's the best defense for ants? Because they took out her figs this year.
Ugh.
Um,
Other ants, and if they're the biting ants, I very reluctantly say that there is a product out there called Amdro that can take care of an aggressive ant colony.
but
But I
it's a
really,
poison.
it's
If
a
you get
real,
there, I hate to say this too, but if you get there, you take a pitchfork and you put it in there 3 or 4 times in their anthill and pour hot water on it. I've done that
see,
before. But most of the time, and unless the ants are bothering you and eating your fruit
themselves, like they took out her fig tree.
things, yeah, I just leave them alone because they're part of the soil biology that Shota was talking about.
You know, ants, I have ants all over my yard. I did have one colony next to one of my trees that I tried everything on, even the hot water just couldn't work.
Mhm.
And I did a very limited Amdro because they were biting me and I couldn't get to the tree. And that was a reluctant thing. And I hated using that. But I'm admitting I'm not perfect when it comes to that. But the more soil diversity that you have, the healthier, more balanced bug ecosystem you'll have too.
Amen to that.
Yeah. All right.
All righty. So we have, I guess, one more thing left, huh?
Yeah.
It's a quick video. This is one of my final videos from the urban farm before I moved.
I'm going to say hi to Colleen. Hi, Colleen. I see you in there.
Mhm.
Colleen and I share a family relation there.
Oh, very good.
That's my daughter-in-law's mom. Where's my share button? I lost my share button.
Mhm.
Okay, hold on. I overthought this with my 3 screens. There we go. Found it. Greg's like her and her 3 screens.
So they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago or right now. Here's one that's right now. Here's one that's almost 20 years old. It's the best thing that you can do for your family. It will nurture you. It'll nurture your family. It'll change your local food system, and you'll be able to get fruit out of your yard every month of the year if you plant it that way. Just get out and plant trees, grow some food.
Yes.
I love that, love that, love that. Thank you, Miss Janis. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Do we remember the early bird specials bundles disappeared today on the citrus? And the launch specials disappeared today. So, you know, claim your bag of fruit of fertilizer.
Or starter amendments, fertilizer, or your consult.
Or yeah, or if you're bold, do a consult. We just had somebody buy a consult level of fruit trees just about 15 minutes ago. So
Nice.
yeah. All right, crew.
Yep, they sure did. We'll
Thank you,
make sure
thank
they
you.
get to that.
Yeah, perfect. So please join us for our other classes coming up. It's Tuesday night, I think, right, Janice?
The next one is Tuesday.
3 ways to kill your fruit trees. You definitely want to attend this class. I'm
We
passionate
promise.
about it.
Yeah, we promise. We'll teach you how to kill and how not to kill your fruit
Yeah,
trees.
that's really what it's about.
Right.
All right, cool. So, all right, this will be going up as a recording here in the next hour or so. Whenever it's ready, I'll get it posted to to YouTube, and I will get an email out to you all.
And
Yeah.
I'll be sending out emails too for those of you who are prize winners that I need to.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have fun. Bye, Janis.
Bye, Greg.